Punters and Dribblers, welcome back to another episode of All Talk. Got another horny guest in the studio. Rugby League player of some note. Sexiest man in Rugby League, not called Ruben Garrick.
Really fuckable guy.
Really fuckable. Honestly, it was hard. It was like distracting to sit across from him.
Distractingly gorgeous.
You had to turn the fans on, and obviously the temperature of the room raised significantly because of the heat he exudes.
That's right, Tom.
But a great player, a good man. Well, it sounds actually like I'm talking him down if I say great player, good man.
No, he's a great man.
Great player, great man, and now official friend of the show.
Good Dubbo stock.
Good Dubbo
Good
stock.
Avoca stock. Just a terrific young man, really, Tom, I think, at the end of the day. A real gentleman, a real scholar.
And a good yarner.
And a good yarner. And he likes to have a bit of fun, a bit cheeky.
Cheeky little yarner.
That's right.
The one and only Connor Watson. Let's get into it.
You are listening to the Hello Sport podcast.
Have you had any big sessions here?
Grand final night was a session, but I chuffed off before you guys. Like, you sat here and just drank until the early hours. I was like,
5 o'clock.
like when I left, I was like, this thing's petering out, and that was at like 1.
But it didn't. It petered out. Like, it was just a slow peter.
It was real slow.
Really slow.
The slowest.
Yeah.
And were you the last one?
Yeah.
Well, he's often the last.
Yeah, I was about to say, is that
No,
common
Eddie's.
occurrence?
It's common, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't like going home.
It's probably,
One of my mates-
probably the Dubbo in him.
Yeah. It's the Dubbo in him.
Well, you got Dubbo and you too, bro.
Yeah, I do.
So are you a last one to leave?
Yeah, I am. I don't want to get myself in trouble. I'll say when I was single, I probably wasn't the last one to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I know what you mean.
No, that makes sense. I just had to wrap my mind around that for to try and work out. Yeah. No,
But you haven't gone to sleep.
Nah. I've just left
Yeah, you just left.
the boys.
Yeah. What a
essentially.
life.
But now that you're shacked up,
You're loved up.
Yeah.
do you stay around?
I think that's where my true colours have come out.
Yeah.
That's where the Dubbo in me's come out.
Yeah.
not
Well, so
fucking
I've been
leaving.
shacked out for ages too. So
Yeah.
So
you get a burr, someone to go home to.
I used to, again, we're less than a minute into the podcast and I'm going to bring up the fact that I have kids now, but I have to go home earlier because of that, Like, that's a responsibility.
Well, you don't have to. You just makes your life easier the next day if you do.
Exactly, because I'm
No one's forcing you to anything.
Well, my wife kind
Yeah.
of yeah, she's kind of
And you get no sympathy from her. the
Fuck
next
no,
day
what am I
either,
going to do? Oh, yeah, sorry, I got belted last night, and now I have to look after the children. And it's not about my children. Look, I mean, I feel like they're going to one day be like, you spoke about us too much on the podcast, so let's let them, give them some space.
But it is good to be sat alongside, opposite, a kid born in Dubbo Base Hospital. I like that.
Oh, so same hospital?
Yeah.
Well, there's only one.
Oh, is there only one?
Yeah.
When we were born, there was only one. I think
And it was pretty much a shack.
Yeah, right.
it's come a long way.
Yeah, I know.
It's come a long way.
Long ago.
From the tin shed days of...
Yeah, it was basically like a shearing shed. Now it's, looks like a hospital now.
Yeah.
So it's exciting time.
You, when we drove through, actually, you were like...
It's on the way to the golf course.
the great Eddie Simpson
race
comes
The racetrack.
I seen that.
Did you see the
I
sign?
loved it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something to strive for,
A boyhood dream.
Yeah.
Is how I'd put it.
I mean, obviously, I'm not
It's how
a
I put
Dubbo
it.
local, but it's certainly one of my prouder moments having that sign up, like in the Hello Sport history.
And
Three-
I like the fits too.
You like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that was
suits
good.
were on.
Shout out to Tarakash. we went and we were just like to this guy because we knew we had to do the photo shoot to like get it all done, and it was last minute like everything we fucking do. So we're in there and we're asking, and I'm like, dude, I need like a really oversized suit, and he was sort of confused. And then Eddie's like, I need the tightest pants you've got, and like a stupid floral shirt, all this shit. So like he eventually got that we were trying to look stupid, but at the end of it he was like, but seriously, like I know you guys are like just like having a bit of fun, but like I actually think you guys look really good. And we were like, bro, you've already made the sale, like it's okay.
The transaction's gone through.
Yeah, you don't
You've got
need
your
to lie to
commission.
us. We look fucking ridiculous.
It's like I was in a 20. I think I was in a 28 pan or a 26. Like beyond tight. They were basically painted onto my legs, and he's sitting there going, "You look fabulous." Like, no, I don't, mate. And if you think that, like,
then you're working in the right place.
well, he is
That's
actually.
a good point.
He is a good point. Yeah.
Yep.
There is something powerful about wearing a big suit, though, don't you think?
Well, I think the suit, yes and no, because this suit was so big and I felt like dwarf. Like I actually felt I don't know, you know, like when you wear a suit, you kind of want to look good. So when you're like acutely aware of how ridiculous you do look, like walking around the Dubbo racetrack past like the dudes mowing the lawns and shit as we're like taking photos there, and it's like,
I think
I feel silly.
I think for me, when I was like riding you and smacking your ass on the way down the straight as the guys just driving past us on the mower, he would have been like, who the fuck are these cunts?
And it's like, what'd you get up to today? Well, listen, it was a weird one. Went to Dubbo. He was getting spanking me.
Was it a race day when you were there?
No, so we did it. We were meant to go to the race day, but we had to do something. We were doing the Budgie Smuggler, what's it called? Or Most Ordinary Rig the same day. So we were like, we just went down there and like unveiled the sign. There was no one there. It was just us. And we just filmed the unveiling in our fucking dumb suits. But we're going to go back. Like we got a race named after us on the day, on like their Derby Day.
Yeah, Derby Day. You know, Derby Day is like the big day in Dubbo. So it would have been nice to be there.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been nice to have a marquee, get some dribblers down there, mates. It would have been hilarious. But because we're so unorganised, this was very last minute.
Yeah.
Incredibly last minute. The sign went up like that week and we were double booked. Unfortunately, we couldn't go. But we want to do an actual race day up there.
We
like
also want to, like, eventually the dream is to buy every single sponsorship on the straight and just have like
one of our sayings.
Yeah, all different shit along.
Surround yourself with goers and you too shall go. Like the whole thing. You're just watching Sky Racing going, what the fuck does that say?
And also, what does it mean? Like,
Well, it's up to, you know.
Well, it's
your own truth, Tom.
Yeah,
it's your own truth.
Thanks for coming in. Obviously, how's it going in pre-season? How much time do you have off? So you're back now training, but you were off. You were gallivanting. Did you have a little gallivant?
Yeah, I had a pretty good trip, to be honest. Did Bali.
Of course.
Of course. That's like the pilgrimage for the rugby league player, right?
Classic.
Yeah.
You can't do it off season without doing a Bali
No,
trip.
exactly right.
Yeah, so I did that.
Was there like any blues at what's the name of that? Like, isn't there like a really popular bar? Where Dave Fafita getting a punch
was
on?
it at the?
Is that where
or Mexicola?
Dave Fafita and
I don't think it was at Mexico.
Solomona?
I wasn't at Hotel Mexicola. I don't think. Did you go to Hotel Mexicola? Of course. It's up on the tables, bro.
Yeah, of course. I love when they start the salsa line.
Oh, I've
You know when they do that? It's like a Congo
Have you
line.
been?
Everyone's
I've been to Thailand. I got violently sick, and I've never gone back. Or is that Bali?
You've been
I
to
went one of
Bali,
them.
but you went to Bali and you wore jeans out to Kuta anyway. We've been over a minute.
Really?
Well, I got dumped like fucking 2 weeks before I was meant to go, and I was very like. Again, I apologise to the people who've heard this. My missus dumped me 2 weeks before I was meant to go on holidays with him and his missus and other missus. And then, so I was like, she's like, we can still go. I'm like, the last thing I'm going to do is go on a holiday with you after you dump me. So like maybe a month later, I went with a friend of mine and his family, and then we went out to Kuta, and I was like, it's super bad.
Yep.
You know, McLovin walks up in like a vest and like he looks like a complete fucking idiot. That was me like I didn't know what to do. I had like a long shirt and pants, and I was at Kuta. Was it called Kuta?
Kuta, yeah.
Everyone's
in
wearing
boardies and singlets.
footy shorts.
Yeah,
as well.
and I'm sweating my cock off. And my mate picked up a chick the second we walked in, and I walked around by myself like 8 hours.
I went and sat on the toilet.
Yeah. Shout out to Bracey, you dog. Left me there. Anyway, your holiday. Fuck me.
Yeah.
So who'd you go with?
I went to Bali and I met some of the newie boys over there. So it was like Kalen, Croaks, Texie, Chris Randall, Jack Johns. I think it was Bradman. So I just
Bradman.
Yeah.
How's Bradman go? Does he rip in?
Yeah, he's a good man. He got his whole leg tattooed.
I saw that.
It
He went
is
from a shinny to a leggy.
Gnarly, yeah.
Oh, he went leggy.
Dude,
He went what Andrew Fafita.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
it's better than Andrew Fafita's, dude. It looks like the most intricate. Did he get it done over there?
Yeah, he got it done over there.
Oh.
It was like 14 hours in the chair.
Get fucked.
And then we went out this one night after. We're at dinner and like it was pulsating. His leg was pulsating. It was it was not sweet. And then we're about to go out. We're having dinner at this Mexican joint. And he's like, can we just go home? I need to get some new shorts. Because the shorts were like bloody as.
Oh.
So he goes in. He grabs his Aussie Schoolboys Rugby League shorts. Because he reckons they're the only pants that could fit over his leg.
Okay.
Yeah, but they were bagging enough that it wasn't hurting his tattoo. And then, he came out with a stat
With the
night
Aussie schoolboy shorts on.
and was just fully limping. And
So, but that seems like a kind of a stupid place. Have you got any tattoos?
yeah, I got a couple.
I got one, but like, I think from my memory, you can't even get in the fucking water after you have them. Like, you got to put cream on them and all that sort of stuff. It seems like on a holiday is not the ideal spot to do it, is it?
Nah, and like, because I was almost going to get a tattoo over there as well. Just nothing as serious as that. Just
Not a leggy.
Yeah, just a little arm one. And yeah, that was why I didn't. But what he did was he just booked it for like the last 3 days of the holidays.
Right.
Or last 2 days. I think he did like 8 hours and then 6 hours over 2 days. Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
But you should see the leg, though. It's fucking...
Yeah,
Is it like a bit of, is it a Picasso? Almost?
Sort
Like,
of. Tobler, drop it into the YouTube when you... Tobler's not here. He's home sick, but he'll listen to this. Just drop in the photo of Bradman's leggy, please. It's fucking good. Someone tagged us in the other day going... Because we were always talking about Bradman's shin tats. Shin tats generally, like Gutho's got shin. Have you got a shin tat? You got any?
No shin tats.
The shin tat's like the new thing, and it's also like, on the face of it, intimidating for me personally. If I see a man with a shin tat, I'm like, he's probably going to kick me in the head if I misspeak.
Yeah, like if you're facing up and your opposite number's got a shinny, are you concerned?
like, oh fuck?
Yeah. You're nervous.
100%. Because they've come to play rugby league.
Yeah. But then you see someone like Gutho, and I'm like, that belies his generally seeming like friendly nature. Where I'm like, I don't see Gutho as a shinny guy.
No.
But now he's got two of them. I'm like, well, fuck, maybe he would kick you in the head.
Well, if he's got two, I think he almost certainly would.
But then you see Bradman, who's got the leggy, and it's like, it's not just like a little bit. It's like full leg, dense tattoo.
Yeah. Goes up to the budgie smuggler line.
That's also interesting as well. How how close to his fucking Johnson is it?
Yeah. I think, an inch or two.
Jesus.
Not long, not far.
Not far. You right there, buddy?
Oh, no,
that's unprofessional.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
unprofessional. So Bali, that's fun. You're with the boys. How long are you there for?
Yeah. So we did I did 9 days. They did 5, but they were already there like before
Yeah.
I got there. And because I wasn't going to go, and then we ended up getting knocked out, and I was like real filthy about losing, and just the way we went out. So I was like,
Who'd you lose to again?
South.
Remember that game?
Was that the crazy game?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It was like barely any footy played.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
off, I
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
even tired. I was just
This is ridiculous. Shout out to Ashley Klein.
frustrated. And then, so when we finished, the boys, because Kaylin and that were just like messaging me, just come over now. So I ended up booking it halfway through their trip. So
I think you're going to say halftime of the game. This isn't going well.
I knew it was going south.
Yeah. We've lost some man. This isn't going to work.
This isn't fucking looking good. I'm just going to book it. Flights are cheap.
And then, so I got there on like day 3 of their trip, did 4 days with them, and then the missus came over for like another 4 days, which was nice.
That's nice.
Really saved my opinion of Bali, to be honest.
Yeah.
After
Was that the first time you'd been?
Nah, I'd been before, but after the 4 days, like of just going flat stick.
Yeah, debauchery with the fellas, you then get some time, like some R&R, and it's like, oh, let's see some nice things as opposed to just like...
Stay in nice places, eat nice meals.
Yeah,
go
go
to
out
bed at
for
a reasonable
dinner.
time. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't go get a nasi goreng for $2 down the road, but
And then just session.
yes.
So you shit yourself.
Nice R&R. And then you were saying before, did you go to New York?
Yeah, and then after that, I come home for a bit, and then went over to Hawaii.
Love it.
Was this
So
planned, or was it all just like, fuck it?
The Hawaii trip was planned, so we did it with Tom Starling that plays for
Yep.
Canberra. Yeah. So like my family and his family were like best friends. Our mums are best friends. And
Is
then-
he from Avoca?
Yeah, he's from Avoca.
Yeah.
I think one of you stayed at
I
the
did.
house. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at his house?
Yeah. Tom
On
Starnes.
Airbnb.
Was that the one where we were last year when we were Zooming? Or was it a
The
previous
beach
one?
That
shack.
one.
Oh, there you go.
That
one,
Was that the one where the cunts tried to come over to the house?
Well, they were like, can we come up? And I was like, no.
Who was it? It was probably some of Tommy's mates.
Well, they hit me up this year, like, are you coming back? And I'm like, I am. And they're like, well, we'll meet up down at the fucking surf club.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not
Like,
coming to the
you
house.
can't come around to the house
Mum and Dad are here.
with mum and dad. And my sister's like, you could, but
It'd be weird.
it'd be a little bit weird. Let's just go to the surf club. But they've already teamed me up. They teamed me up fucking 6 months ago. So
Oh, there you go. Well, now you got to do it.
I've got to do it now.
How was the surf club? We
Love
haven't
it.
been yet.
I have been.
Yeah.
I haven't been. I'm going this year with them,
Yeah.
supposedly.
What day?
I don't know. When are you?
I'll
When are
be
you
out
there?
there too.
Oh, there
When?
you go.
Yeah, I'm doing nothing at Christmas. I'll probably be home 23rd, I reckon.
For how long? I'm there on the 8th
Okay. Of
Jan.
we're back at training.
Back
by
at
then.
training.
The 4th we start again. So
Devastating.
yeah.
So you get 23rd though, 23rd to the 4th. That's a decent.
I think we get
amount,
the 22nd to the 4th off, but just probably might be a bit dusty on the 22nd to drive home. So after the Chrissy party.
Are you expected to like get up and go for runs and shit though, or are you allowed? Can you have the whole time off?
Yeah, they'll give us a schedule, and it'll be maybe like 4 weight sessions, so 2 a week and 4 runs, something like that.
Pretty achievable.
Just to keep it ticking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise 14 days off, 2
Mate,
weeks
like,
off.
you're back with the family. You can't be fucked, right?
Yeah, you got a bit of ham in you,
Yeah,
maybe a bit of lamb, bit of pork, Tom,
Prawns,
oysters.
We'll get to some preseason shit soon though. But so you get to New York with you're Hawaii.
Yeah, so we booked the Hawaii trip with the Starlings. So both our mums came, all the boys and missus, and then like we're all big fans of the NFL. We'll play.
Who's your team?
I am a Jets fan.
Okay,
Yeah.
They're
that
good
tough?
this year, aren't they? Aren't
Yeah.
they good this year?
Historically tough, right?
Yeah, yeah, they've normally been trash, but
But now they're good.
yeah, they're starting to get good, which is cool. But I only picked the Jets because I wanted to go for a New York team because I love New York so much. So then I
Right.
had a reason to like go there.
Yeah, okay. Get
And
on
it
the
wouldn't. It's not. And you pick the shit team instead of being like Giants.
Yeah. Yeah.
I respect that.
shit. I am a like Golden State Warriors and Kansas City Chiefs fan. So you know.
Okay, makes a lot of sense.
Suspect.
I was
Makes a
fans
lot
of them before they were good. But
Were you in Waikiki or did you go to Maui?
Yeah, did Waikiki and then went up to Turtle Bay.
Love it. Like that.
One of the greats.
It's perfect. That's
Yeah.
the double you want to do.
I
in
want to
my
go to
opinion.
Hawaii.
I haven't been to Maui though, but I've heard good things. But that's what you do.
Hawaii's living.
It is, hey.
No, I'm saying like that's a question. I want to go to fucking
It is
Hawaii.
unbelievable. I love it over there. It's not too far away.
It's
You're in
like a
America.
9-hour flight, isn't it? Was that what you
Yeah,
were saying?
9 hours.
Fuck,
Food's
that's
good.
very achievable in terms of like, you know, if you got to sit in economy. What'd you fly? Are you?
Yeah, economy.
Well, I mean, but you could have. I mean, you would have. Could have, you know, bumped it up to business.
Hey, the flights are expensive at the
Do
moment.
you get
Even economy was
Do you
ridiculously
get frequent
expensive.
flyers off the back of your like NRL, like flying around and
Yeah,
shit?
yeah, we do.
Okay.
But
that's
being a
good.
Sydney team, you don't get to fly as much
Yeah, okay.
because like sort
Lot
of a third of the games are in Sydney.
Yeah.
Those New Zealand boys would be drowning in points.
Yeah, imagine that.
You'd hope so.
International flight
I
every
wonder if
week.
that's a part of the contract. We guarantee you this many points over the course of your 2-year contract.
Maybe they probably
Well, to
should.
put it over the line.
So what? Some nice R&R over there.
Yeah.
Feet up. Did you go to the Cheesecake Factory? Of
Couple
course.
times.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
You
a
can't
rite
go
of
to
passage.
Hawaii,
No,
yeah.
you can't.
Oh, really? So it's like I'm a pig generally at my core, but cheesecakes,
Mate,
my kryptonite.
Hawaii is like your bread and butter, bro. Like you get that sort of like resorty tropical vibe, but
Yeah.
you don't. It's not fraught with risk like Bali or Thailand.
Yeah, I'm
is.
not going to poo myself.
You get the drinks are like best in class. Get you blind after one. The food's unbelievable. It's gluttonous for big pigs. You know,
Yeah,
like, it's
okay.
good.
It is. It is. And you don't have to lift a finger if you don't want.
No.
Like you can just park up by the pool
That's what I want.
and that's you for the day.
And if you tip well, they'll be there every second. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? It's genius.
Okay, so no busy class.
Nah, no busy class. I would love to, but
Yeah. But it's not a responsible way to spend your money.
yeah, exactly right. Especially when they're 10 grand at the moment.
I know, that's so fucking expensive, dude.
Literally $9 grand. One way.
it'd
Like
be-
there's better
it'd
ways
be
to spend your money.
ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. For 9 hours of just a bit of pain and economy, get an extra row. Shut the fuck up. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so then what I was asking, like whether it was planned or not, because there's an element of the rugby. Oh, cheers, big day rugby.
Yeah, I need to try this. I actually haven't.
Cheers, bro.
Thanks, boys.
There's a. I'll let you try it first. Let us know what you think. Feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good shit.
That's easy drinking.
Yeah.
This is what you want.
They call it the greatest rosé ever made, and that's not us saying it.
It's what people say
That's
to
just
drink
what
it.
people say.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what the people are saying.
Yeah, like the freedom that I guess being like a professional athlete gives you in these moments of the year where you can just be like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go to New York. And like, I imagine that would be quite a nice or a fun, like, element of your life that you're able to do. You know, just like you can afford to just be like, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to go and chuff off around in the off season. So New York was a last minute decision.
Yeah, so because we had the family trip booked, and then we just sort of, the boys started talking like, we should just do a boys trip to the States after. So
That's living.
just had to convince the missus.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty easy though. She was a legend with it. So
shout out to the missus.
yeah. And then
You had just brought it to fucking Hawaii. You'd done some big lifting there.
Yeah, that's true. But I think we actually split the trip, to be honest. So.
Well, then she is just a legend.
She's just
a straight
stand
up
up.
legend.
She's just stand up.
Yeah.
We love that.
She's pretty rock solid. It's
How
cool.
old are you?
26.
Okay, so it's not necessarily marriage stations yet, but
Nah, not yet.
certainly a tick in the right box though.
Yeah,
you know.
she's on her way.
Yeah. I was telling my now wife that you were coming on, and she was like, "Oh, Connor, who's Connor again?" I showed her, and she's like, "Oh, his missus is so hot." That's what Ella was saying. She follows her on Instagram, thinks she's a vibe. So congratulations to you.
Oh,
sis.
well done. Well done.
We love that.
Lucky
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
We are lucky men. Lucky men.
Yeah. We are. We're all lucky
we
men.
are, yeah.
We're all lucky
very
men.
lucky
We're all
men.
lucky men. Did you catch a Jets game in the States?
No, we didn't.
You didn't?
They weren't on when we were there, but we did heaps of sport. Did the so we flew to New York. Did the New York Rangers there, the ice hockey.
Yeah.
which was sick.
Is it good ice hockey? Like, as a sport, it just seems kind of like hockey generally, not something that gets me stiff, but like ice hockey, live.
More of a field hockey guy. Ain't
Yeah,
you,
I'm
mate?
more of a field hockey guy. No, I'd say field hockey, one of the toughest sports to get around. No disrespect to the hockey roos.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as a sport, ice hockey live, was it fun? Is it cool?
Yeah, it was cool. I kind of felt like I was just doing this the whole time, but like it's so fast paced.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to see a stink, which is
That's kind of what you
what
want.
you
right?
go there for.
Yeah.
So that was disappointing. But it was cool. Like it was in the Madison Square Garden, so it's good to be able to tick that box. To,
Yeah.
like, go there. And,
Fully. Is it cold in there?
yeah. They're like, I don't know what they have. Maybe just some powerful air cons or something to.
Keep everything chill.
Yeah. And then like, I don't know if you've ever seen the videos of how they like turn it from the ice hockey to the basketball stadium
No.
in like a day. Because they might have a concert there on a Friday.
Yeah.
Have the ice hockey Saturday, then have the basketball on Sunday. So
Yeah, they're fully, right? Like so how do they do it?
I don't. They're just like there's parts of the grandstand they can move in and out, and then I think they must like freeze the hockey pitch elsewhere and then just bring it in.
So it's like a drop in.
It's unbelievable.
I'd never thought about the logistical shit fight that would be having a fucking like Madison Square Garden generally.
Which gets used all the time.
Yeah.
It's probably booked out every night. Just about.
Do you know how much it costs just to book it? Because I was there, Jake Paul, he was like meant to fight some relative nobody compared to who he does fight. And then they just called the fight off, and it was like, there was some like shenanigans, people saying like I think it was like excuses as to why they called it off, but it was in reality the fact that no one was buying tickets because no one gave a fuck. But it was at MSG. Now, like, just to book it's $500,000, like just to reserve it. So it's like if you're not selling tickets,
Is that non-refundable too?
Fuck, now you're pushing me. I don't know. That I don't know.
Which is shockingly.
Yeah.
Shockingly, he doesn't know.
I'm going to have to call Beryl in the
Yeah,
accounts
yeah.
department at MSG.
Are you like when I went away, right? I was as close to 100% relaxed as I can get when I'm there. But there's also still an element of like I got to do a podcast. Like there's still like little work parts in my mind. As a footy player, can you switch off 100% in the off season, or are you thinking about the season? Like you thinking about like your career, or can you just completely unwind?
I reckon this year was like the first time that I could properly unwind, just because normally in the off season, like I train a fair bit too, like through it. But then I had a knee injury last year that was like, it just hung around pretty much the whole year. It was like my patella tendon, and the club just said to me like, don't run. So when I went to the States, I was just like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just purely going to chill and just enjoy it. I reckon when you travel too, there's like a freedom that you feel. And I remember when Kaylin and I went to Europe, we did a Europe trip too. And it was like the same thing. You just go a place where like no one knows you at all. Yeah. It doesn't even look twice at you. And yeah.
Does that feel, is that a relief to have that sort of escape, that feeling where you're like, oh fuck, no one knows who I am, no one's watching, no one's paying attention?
Yeah, I'd say it is. I mean, like in no means am I someone that gets noticed like all the time. Like
it's not an overwhelming thing that you're currently going through. No.
Yeah, but it is nice just to just do what you want and no one cares or yeah.
I'm sure someone like Kaylin must be like more, pretty relieved.
Yeah,
you know?
because he everywhere he goes, especially in Newcastle, it's like
Do you
everyone.
Yeah, what's it like? Obviously, you are both professional footballers, but then you've got someone like Kalen who's a fucking, he's massive. Is there a way that you can like help him in like does he deal with it well? Is he like pretty cool with that shit, or do you see it take a toll on him at any point? Not ask you to speak from in any like personal sense, but just like how you experience his fame as like a friend of someone who has to deal with that shit.
Yeah, he's pretty good with it, to be honest. Like he's pretty level-headed. But, you do see it on some guys who have been like affected by it and kind of get a little, not like over it, but like just for example, when we're in Bali, there was this dude there and he was just like the biggest pissed idiot you ever met and was just so rude. And that was probably like the first time where I could see he was starting to get a little bit annoyed, but we're lucky there was like some other Aussies there that just pretty much told this dude to piss off. But he was that fucking rude,
really?
Really?
Yeah, he was like
Talking shit, like footy shit, like...
Yeah, like he's like, oi, Kalen, you can't come here. Let's get a fucking photo.
Oh,
like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
mate.
and he's like, oh, like,
no.
any manners? Or
Yeah.
And then he took like the photo and then come back like a little while later and was like, oh, look at my caption, and it was like, oh, just seen Ponga in the bathroom like after all this.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
like, that was like his thing.
Oh my
It
god!
was so funny. Kalen's like, who see that? And just hit the like X in the corner, just delete.
Yeah, that's fucking. What
Oh
a
my
shitstorm.
god!
Yeah, not from like a, people saying hello and all that stuff. Like it's sweet, but yeah, the time
The
you
dickheads.
you really see it is when you just see like the dickheads who are just rude and but they're everywhere. Right?
Yeah. There's a reality, sadly, to that, I guess.
Dickheads exist.
Dickheads do exist. So, but like generally speaking, for like from a like the holiday perspective, is that like it's quite a refreshing getaway from footy? Do you think about you don't think about it much, or you're like,
No, not too much. I just really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was sick because I've never I traveled with my little brother, and then Jackson, who's Tommy's older brother, and then their little brother Josh. So it was like literally 5 brothers, just like
hold on a second, Josh Starling, younger than Tom Starling, get fucked. Hasn't he? Is he playing in the NRL?
Nah, a different one.
Oh, okay.
Different
I was
guy.
like, I swear there's a Josh Starling that played maybe for the Seagulls.
Yeah,
First
he
Club in
played
the
for
league.
the Seagulls.
Yeah,
I think
right.
he's retired now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like, how the fuck's that happening? He's younger than Tom
I
Starling.
was just like 40.
What the fuck's going on? How old's Tom Starling? Completely different Starling.
Yeah,
you go.
completely different.
With the same name.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, it happens.
It does happen. Riddle me that. Do you ever find yourself thinking about finals exits? Or do you just go, you swallow that one and move on?
This one I probably did. Yeah. More so because like when I was at Newey and we made the finals, like no one had done it in ages. So the boys were just like frothing to be in the finals.
Yeah.
So, and like we didn't, last year against Para, like we're close to beating them, not like maybe lost by 8 points, like it was a pretty close game. Where this year the Roosters, and especially with the style of footy we're playing, we just thought like if anyone was going to beat Penrith, it would have been us. And then we just really let our emotions get in the way. And Jesus, was a depressing Mad Monday. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
the most depressing of Mad
Everyone
Mondays
was flat?
I've been on. Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I ran into Angus Crichton like 2 days after, or maybe a week afterwards, and I go, oh, mate, like, sorry about the loss. And he was just like fucking venting. And he was like, the most annoying thing is that all week we were like, don't let it get emotional. Don't let them get in your head. Like, that's what they were going to do. They're going to drag you down and to try and make it emotional. He goes, and we're like, no, we won't. We'll be sweet. And then that's exactly what
5 minutes in, folks are getting sin bin.
6 yellow cards.
Shit.
That's fucking funny. And was like the way that game went, was a lot of that to do with the fact that the two clubs hate each other? Like, or was it just the game itself? Like, did that add to the situation?
Yeah, I think the two clubs hating each other adds to it for sure. And it's like easy to get dragged into all that because the media pumps it up.
Yeah.
Everyone who like you talk to as a Roosters fan's like, fuck South. And then
Yeah.
it's like vice versa. You see a South fan and they're like sticking their fingers up at you and shit.
Right.
And then it just kind of like creeps in subconsciously. And then next thing you know, like we're just pushing and shoving every 5 minutes. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's something we need to be better at.
What does Robbo say, as much as you're prepared to like divulge, but like what's he say after a game like that where it's like, oh, that one got out of fucking hand? Is he like angry at everyone, or is he like...
I can't actually remember what he was like.
But so your season, that was the last game of your season, hey?
Yeah.
So you're all just in the sheds like fucking...
Yeah, everyone was just filthy. And I think, because we had reviews and stuff too, so after you finish, then you'll have like your individual review on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then like a team review on later in the week.
And when's your Mad Monday? Is this all post Mad Monday as well?
So
so you're already in a bit of a state where it's like, can we maybe push this like another 3 or 4 days? Just like, let me get back to neutral here, because I don't need any critiquing right now. I need cuddles.
You're vulnerable as
I need cuddles and pats on the bum, and like you're all right.
Do they bring the Yahoos in at like first light? Like, you know,
The what?
like if you're a bit of a Yahoo and they know it, they like your reviews at 6 a.m. Tuesday morning, like just to keep you, you know.
Yeah, just to try and fuck with you.
Well, or just to try and make you go to bed a bit earlier. I don't know.
Well, if you're a Yahoo.
If you're a Yahoo, you might just go straight there.
Well, yeah, roll straight in.
Would that be frowned upon, bending into your review?
Yeah, it'd definitely be frowned upon. It depends though. Like, you win the comp.
Well, then
You
who
can go
gives a
into what you
fuck?
want,
Yeah.
Probably not turning up to review.
Do you get nervous before those reviews?
A little bit. Probably not so much now, but when I was younger,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, but they're pretty good. You like sit with the attack coach. He'll go through like your year attacking wise. Sit with the D coach. He sort of goes through your defense, and then you get like a one-on-one with Robbo, and then
And are you going in again? You know, you're saying like now not so much, but like are you going in there being like thinking about every fucking tackle you missed throughout the season, or
Yeah,
like
for sure.
every drop ball, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Do you plan? Are you asked to justify anything? Like you're not sort of going through game tape of like, why'd you do that so much sort of stuff, is it? Like,
Nah, it's more so like he'll be like, how do you think you went this year? And you sort of like say your thing, and then like,
do you feel like if they're asking how you go and you're like, well, I think I actually went all right, but like, do you have to try and like, you don't know how they think you went, so you don't want to be too...
Yeah, you don't want to be like,
I think
I was the man, and then, oh, no, you weren't.
But does it feel like a job interview at all? Like you're sort of trying to... Do you ever feel like you're trying to justify your position in the side?
Nah.
In a weird way?
Nah, I could see how you could. Yeah. I mean, if you're going in there and you're off contract, you'd probably be like, please.
Yeah, you come with a bouquet of flowers and a box of chocolate.
I wonder how much begging's been done in a review, if any.
No, there would have been some begging at some point. Surely there's begging.
I reckon there'd be some weird ones that would have happened, for sure. But
100%.
yeah, mine was pretty civil. Yeah.
And what was the Mad Monday? You say it was a sad Monday.
Yeah, sad Monday.
The sad Monday. What'd you do for it?
We just went to Clovelly Bowling Club, which is pretty sick.
Well, no, it's a nice spot.
It's a great spot.
One of the best bowling clubs as far as position.
Yeah, it's
and view.
Yeah.
It's unrivaled, completely unrivaled. Tom and I do a bit of training down in that park.
No, we do. Shout out to Jeff Athletic. You know, we sort of get put through our paces. Actually, you in tomorrow?
Should be.
Is that a gym out that way?
No, it's a friend of ours who's our trainer. And he trains us on that, like that footy field
bars
there.
And that, near there.
Well, we don't have the upper body strength for monkey bars to really be a part of our routine yet.
Yeah.
Chin ups and shit, not really possible.
Coming soon though.
Well,
we're working on the base. You just got to do the fundamentals right, and then you can
work your way up to chin ups. And well, you know what? He did give us one of those rubber bands that like
he gave you a rubber band.
He gave me
Get
a
around
rubber
the foot.
Yeah, he ran the foot. It takes like 90% of your body weight off, and so I was doing a couple of chin ups then. But certainly we've parked the chin ups for now because we need to work on many other things.
I was at that semi-final you lost, and the crowd was like baying for blood. It was gladiatorial. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like those first 2 games that we played there.
Yeah.
It's just like an atmosphere I haven't really been a part of. And then, because I left the year before the Roosters won the comp, so...
That must fucking sting in the fucking...
2 in a row. Oh. Imagine me watching the grand final.
Yeah, dude. Oh, fuck.
You sitting with 2 rings on, bro?
Yeah, I know. I just got this one. It ain't no
What's that for?
premiership
Did you
ring,
win
man.
that?
Yeah, and like I played in the prelim the year before we lost, but I reckon even atmosphere was those 2 games were better than that prelim. And the boys said it was literally like running out to a grand final. It felt the exact same. And I remember once we were like defending our line, and Team A was Terrell May was like 5 meters from me, and I was screaming like, and just nothing. He couldn't even hear me. The crowd was so loud. Yeah, and I can't like yell that great now because I don't know if you remember, I fractured my throat.
Oh,
it was like early in the year last year. Yeah, it was a real weird one.
Fractured your throat.
My larynx. Yeah.
Fucking hell. You don't have any Lockyer vibes to you though, in terms of the way you're speaking.
I got really lucky, but I just can't scream. Yeah, very loud.
And is that a thing of like you can't scream because if you do it'll fuck it up, or it's like you actually just physically
can't get there? Yeah.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Like I can't hit any high notes or anything. Like
we were going to get
so is your singing career over, or is that what you're telling us?
I was hoping that maybe
a post-career. Well, Cody fucking Simpson, he went from singing to swimming.
You go from rugby league to singing. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying you could have, not anymore.
Well, not anymore. That's right. What do you do to deal with a situation like that?
The throat.
Yeah. No, like if you're on the field, loud crowd, you're trying to get a bloke to come fucking help you defend. Like,
is there a sign language coach?
Yeah, I was just hoping that, I don't know, he would look at me eventually. And then it was just like, oh, fuck it, he'll either come or he won't. So,
was it an enjoyable game to play? Like, even though it was, it was chaos. Were you enjoying it in the moment, or are you not really able to do that? Is it only upon reflection after games that you're able to look back and be like, oh, fuck, that was sick, even though you lost?
No, you definitely are in some games that you enjoy, but that one we didn't enjoy at all because there was no like game really. It felt like we'd get going for 5 minutes and then something would happen. It was like a 2-minute stoppage. So
yeah.
I really wasn't even tired. And then plus we had so many injuries, like we were down to 13. I was playing out in the centres. So like you don't get tired in the centres normally anyway. And then when there's a stoppage every 5 minutes, I felt like I barely broke a sweat.
So when did you come back for preseason? Because like if you make the finals, you get a bit more time off, don't you?
Yeah, you get basically for every week that you go longer, you get another week in preseason. I think I was back on the 21st of November.
Is that a tough morning?
Do you just get fucking worked first day?
They're pretty good at the Roosters.
They're good.
Good in a bad way, or
good in a good way. Like they will ease the boys back into it. Where I've been at some clubs, like when I was at Newcastle, first year, Adam O'Brien rocked up.
I've heard about him before.
Yeah, I've heard about him.
Yeah. Big fan of the show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He rocks up. It's like, so you know the Bronco test? Have you heard of that?
No.
I think I have. I played first 15 footy. So
I was waiting for that. The moment you said, "I'm like, this cunt's gonna fucking drop it in one."
No, but it was that was just at school. It was nothing too impressive.
What school,
unfortunately, Scots College.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Rugby.
First 15 at Scots.
Not too bad. I was certainly would have been one of the first people culled if you could have culled someone, but luckily,
He played like one game.
Well, I was injured.
And his mum had to beg this school to get his colours.
Yeah, well, I got injured. But, did I deserve colours? I would say no, because I didn't play the required amount of games. But
Did you get it on your blazer?
Yeah.
Because mum asked.
Yeah,
Do you remember when that was the thing?
Dude, it's funny. We went to his place and he had his colours blazer still in his cupboard. I'm like, fuck, dude, you are holding on a little bit here. And
Mum's holding on.
Well,
Mum would never get rid of it.
It's your room.
But my brother's was in there as well. It's like a storage cupboard, really.
He's full of shit. But yes, I do remember when colour, because you went to Knox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the coloured blazer. Otherwise, you were just a fucking loser, basically. No disrespect, but if you had just a shitty lame blazer, so thank you to Mum. Really, she did me a favour.
Well, she did you a mad favour.
Another fucking loser. Anyway, Broncos, not about me. Is that run out to the 20 back,
40 back, 60 back?
Yeah.
Do that 5 times. It's about 1.2K, I think it is, on the dot. Yeah. And it's tough. Like, your legs are killing. So it was do one of them. And then we did some, ball skills for maybe, 15 minutes. And then it was back on the line. You've got to do another Bronco. So the boys are just going balls out, the first one. And then
they've got to go again.
That was one of the toughest day ones I've ever had in my life. That one.
Are you guys getting pissed off at that point? Obviously there's an element of this is what you got to do. It's part of but is there a time when you're like, okay, dude, you're taking the piss now?
I reckon you get that a lot when you're doing fitness. You get to a point where you just start to be like the fire is just slowly building up. You're not far from snapping, but I still even get that now, like when we're doing some running and stuff.
Does anyone snap?
Nah, but you do see it, like, we'll come out in like a footy drill a little bit later.
Right.
Yeah. Like the boys are getting fired up and then, but you hear like, I mean, there's stories of like pre-seasons and blokes having full fights and stuff.
Yeah, which
training.
That's the punch-ons. Like you see Trell and like Jacob Host or someone were getting a punch on. And obviously whenever Trell does something, they like to blow it up like he's a fucking criminal. But like, is that a regular occurrence? Like,
yeah, it's not a big thing as far as like, it's not really a news story. I mean, like, obviously it's going to get clicks if teammates are fighting.
Yes.
But yeah, it happens all the time. Because think about it, like, and then even in the wrestle room, like, we do drills where it's literally we'll be on our knees, like, and then like 3 minutes, go, just fighting blokes for 3 minutes, like 1-on-1.
And you're all alpha males, like you've all come through like dominating from like the lower grades up. You just want to fucking.
But even if you do it with your mate, it gets like.
That's true.
When you'd wrestle a mate, it doesn't get.
Were you there when I threw out my lower back wrestling Streety? Tried to fight me when we were playing backyard cricket?
No, I wasn't. Didn't you? You got the dub though.
Well, I got the W, but I couldn't walk. So, like,
it's worth it.
Well, it was worth it, but because everyone saw it. But at what cost?
Well, mate of ours, Dickie, used to wrestle us every weekend. So, like, you'd be thrown into the fire, and even if you didn't want to, a good wrestling brings it out.
Yeah, no, like a willing opponent who forces you into the fire.
Well, yeah. Either you submit, which is like emasculating, or you have a crack and get submitted, but on your own terms. Well, their terms, but better than your own. What I'm saying is, I can see how big alphas wrestling
could turn to fisticuffs.
Like, maybe just a little jab in the ribs or something. I can see that.
But also, like, I do imagine that you don't love everyone in your team. Not that you don't like them, but there's some you may be tighter with. Some people just get on your fucking nerves because that's the way it is. We aren't all friends. Like, you might see something like, I'm gonna wrestle this cunt today, and then he beats you up and you punch him.
Is that good sport when like two people that are a little bit hostile towards each other are put together in a wrestle? Like, do all the boys get around and watch?
Yeah, you love it. you do love to watch that. And the thing is, because I got to wrestle with the big boys. I'm with the forwards, so.
Oh, yeah. So you're having to go against, like, Hargraves and fucking...
Yeah, and he's the worst of the lot.
Is he?
Yeah.
Because he just goes hard?
Goes hard, loves just ripping into you.
Yeah, right. Who else is like that? Who else is in the side is Crichton like that?
Yeah, he trains so hard.
Really?
Yeah, I heard a story. I remember
That's what I felt like
didn't Sam Burgess come out and say that, being like, you don't want to train with Angus Crichton because he's a fucking psychopath?
I don't know.
Is
he really?
He's tapped.
Is he?
Yeah, but away from training, you guys know him. He's like the nicest dude ever.
Yeah, completely.
Soft boy.
Yeah.
Yes. A sweetheart.
Yeah, and then as soon as we train, it's like we could be doing touch and he's running over blokes.
Okay, right.
If you're the other half defending him, like, you actually have to step in every time, or he's gonna make you just look like a little boy.
Yeah, right. You have to do it. It's like, okay, fuck, I've got to now try and put a shot on.
I respect that though.
I do.
Yeah, me too.
Do the coaches get hard for that?
Yeah, they do, because
What's
they
your
never have to
approach?
drive those blokes to go
Yeah.
hard. You know what I mean?
What's your approach though in that? Like, do you take that a similar approach to it? Like,
Yeah, you have to, because you don't want to be the guy that lets someone run through your inside shoulder.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So if they're running hard, then
you have to.
you got to
match
step
it.
in hard. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing.
Do you feel like in a preseason you're getting watched? Like, you're doing these Broncos. How hard are you going? Are you going 100% every time? Like, is it really competitive in preseason for spots and for, adoration,
For sure.
attention?
For sure. I think with those Broncos, because they're like your test, so everyone has, scores that they need to beat, or they'll have like different for a front rower. Like, you're expected to get this. So, or for my position, it's usually the quickest or whatever, which sucks.
You got to be fit.
Yeah, and that's what like blokes always say. Oh, you're fit, like it's sweet for you, but it's like, no, but that means I have to.
Yeah, I
get
actually
this
have
time.
to be fit. I have to give in a fit time.
As opposed to just beating the fatties.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's not really how it works.
Yeah, well, I beat fucking Jared. Yeah, he's like 120 kilos.
Yeah.
So, how old were you when you debuted?
I was 19.
Fuck, that's pretty hectic for the Roosters as well, hey?
Yeah.
Where'd you grew up in Avoca and Knox a rugby union school, yeah? Was league always the thing?
Yeah, league was always a thing. I started playing league when I was like 6 all the way through. And then the union thing came about just because like Avoca doesn't have a league team. They have a union team.
Yeah.
And all the boys that were like playing footy seriously played league. But all my surfer mates from Avoca just played union for like a bit of fun. And when we were 16, they just wanted a couple of us just to come play with them. Because like I'd never played sport with these guys before. So I was keen as just to go and have a run around with them, and then played there and ended up getting like picked in some rep team, and ended up playing in this tournament, and Knox were there and watched me and a mate of mine, Jimmy Witters, and sort of both offered us scholarships to go there. So that's how I ended up at Knox, which was pretty cool because there's no way like I would have been able to go to a school like that, or even had a thought of going to a school like that, you know. And then I actually reckon going there and then playing like first 15 for the 2 years, and they just literally built this new like performance center, which is as good as the one we train in at the Roosters.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's fucking insane, isn't it? The private school setups that are just insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then we had like Hayden Knowles, you know Hayden Knowles.
Yeah.
He was our sprint coach.
Was he a Manly trainer?
He was
Or the Rabbitohs?
the dude that just left the Knights. But like I had him.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I had him at the Roosters when I got there, but I also had him at school. Like he was our speed coach at school, and then like our strength and conditioner is the Waratahs strength and conditioner now. Like this is the type of environment.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
in
at
like a
16 years
relatively
old.
professional setup at school.
Yeah, and
That's
then
silly.
even your man, Kieran Foran, one of the greats.
Oh, you
One of
mean
the greats.
fucking Manly's favourite son?
Yes.
Well, former, because he's playing for the Titans. Obviously, once he retires.
Well, he
he's
hasn't
back.
put the jersey on yet, so he still is.
He's still a
an old
Seagull.
boy.
We let him know when he left. We were like, "You're dead to us now, officially." But like, we will welcome you back at some point, you know, upon retirement. But right now, it's like, fuck yeah. Anyway, yeah, Kieran.
Yeah, he was coming and doing like halves consulting.
Really?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
I swear.
Holy shit!
This is the type of like environment that I got hopped
Kieran
into at
was doing
16 years
fucking
old.
half.
Yeah,
So were you a half?
I had always played fullback,
Okay.
but it's kind of like I was always told by everyone that I was going to be like fullback, and then if I didn't get much bigger, I was probably going to have to transition into the halves, because this is the time that like Greg Inglis was playing fullback. You know, like these type of big bodies. Remember how it went like big body, and then it sort of swung back the other way.
Yeah.
Like there's a bit of both now.
But so even when you're playing for Knox, you're being you're thinking about playing rugby league professionally. Is that
Yeah.
so? Who are you in? Are you already in a Roosters system at that point?
So I'd actually signed with the Knights, and then
At what age did you sign with the Knights?
16. Yeah. And
So
then,
had you signed for them and then you went to Knox? Okay.
yeah. So
So you were already on the path then when you got recognised by Knox. You were already a up and comer of note. People had noticed you.
Yeah, I'd say I was on the way. I was always really small though, and then I played.
But you ripped clearly.
How small though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like what 60 kilos dripping wet small?
Yeah, very skinny.
Yeah.
But I was quick, so that was like sort of my saving grace.
Yeah.
There, and then once I started to get about the 16th period when I was like lifting weights and
Pubes are coming
yeah.
in their own and you're just
Yeah.
bulking.
yeah, exactly. I started to get a bit bigger, and then I think that's when I started to get like noticed a little bit from the scouts and whatnot.
So it wasn't then like crazy shock. Obviously, you had never thought about private school, but it wasn't a crazy shock that someone's coming to you and going, "Hey, we've noticed you're good. Come to Knox." Like that wasn't the first approach you'd ever had by anyone because of your talent.
Yeah, well, because I'd signed with the Knights at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I'd never really thought about the whole rugby union thing or even going to one of those schools. And then I went to Knox, and then because I signed there, or like I committed to go there, the Knights never lodged the contract.
Did that piss them off?
No, well, they said to me, they were like, "Oh, all good. Just we won't play you in the 17s, go to Knox, like do your thing, but we want you to come for the 18s and like train, say like twice a week, and then play in the under 18s there. And then I'd signed it for a year in the 20s as well. And then what happened was I started to get a little bit frustrated playing union because I'd always played fullback, and I started playing outside centre. And you boys like would know that sometimes the outside centre doesn't see much ball, especially if the forwards aren't winning the ruck or whatever. And I went to go play some club rugby league down here for Southeastern Seagulls under Peter Tunks. Do you guys remember Peter Tunks?
I don't, but the name, like,
the
I
name
just
rings a
mean
bell.
people say like Tunksy.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Tunksy.
I don't know.
He's
who
on
he
the
is,
radio
but-
now. Won a comp at the Bulldogs and played.
He's
for
on the
Souths
radio?
and stuff. Yeah, he was
Okay.
on one of those sports
Channel,
channels.
yeah.
And then so I'd met him along the way, and he'd always said to me, "If you want to come play a game of league while you're in Sydney, just give me a call." So I come to join his team, and then as like they've gone to put my registration in, the Central Coast Rugby League have like rung him, and they're like, we're not releasing him to play. It was like to play club footy, and because I had a scholarship when I was at the Central Coast, which paid me $2,000 or something to play Harold Matthews there, so they wanted their money back.
Fuck off.
I swear. So then we had to pay them the $2,000 back.
So that you could go and play a game of footy.
Club rugby league, and then we went to the Knights and we're like, "Can you guys sort this? Like, what's the go here?" And then Tunksy calls me and he's like, "Mate, it's been like nearly a year," and he's like, "The Knights never lodged a contract." So I was thinking I'd signed to the Knights the whole time,
And they never.
they never lodged it at this point.
Why?
I don't know.
Did you have a manager at this stage who's like looking after this shit and being like,
yeah, I did. I had a manager, and like it was obviously not a very good one. And then Tunksy called the Knights and just said, "Rip up the contract. He's not coming to use." And then I parted ways with my manager, and then
shock horror?
ended up playing in the comp down here, and we had a pretty handy side. So it was like, scouts from all the Sydney teams out watching, and then that's when the Roosters approached me and just said, like, if you want to come play HT ball. It was pretty like cruisy. I like come do a couple of days a week training, and then we'll play you, and then eventually like we'll look to sign you on a 20s deal if it all works out.
Fuck yeah.
When you say Tunksy called the Newcastle saying rip up the contract, was he sort of in your ear being like, "You'll be all right in Sydney, that someone will pick you up"? Like he was giving you the confidence to make that call?
Yeah, for sure. He sort of just said to me like, "Yeah, you'll be sweet," because he's pretty influential as well, like in that scene, and knows all the sort of recruitment guys, and was getting them to like come to the games. So he'd like be like, "Boys, I've got scouts from the Tigers and Souths.
Yeah,
and the
right.
Roosters here today."
Tigers.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was disrespectful. But
You play poorly when they're there.
Yeah. Where the Tiger Scouts here, drop the ball. When you're at Knox, did you play any like rep rugby, like the schoolboysy stuff?
Yeah, I made the New South Wales first team, but they never made the schoolboys. Yeah, I didn't have a great tournament, but
Did you get approached from the Waratahs like a $15 a year contract? Like, we'll sign you for 5 years. We'll play in some junior comps.
Train and trial in 10 years' time.
By the time you're 28, we might look at getting you into
you get your debut.
into the Waratahs squad.
no, I didn't have Waratahs. Aussie Sevens though.
Yeah.
they were keen to, but it was like the same thing. It was like, come in and we'll train you for free, and we'll see how you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like you got a good offer from the Roosters.
The Roosters, you're like, wonder which one I'm going to take.
Yeah.
Shit.
Really tough decision.
Look, you drive a hard bargain, Aussie Sevens, no disrespect. That $1,000 you're offering me a year is gonna, I'm gonna
Pay my
pass.
rent for a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Who'd you play SG ball with? Was it like Clary Moore there and stuff? Or was he a bit older than you?
Those boys are a bit older than me. Yeah, I reckon they're probably 3 years older.
Yeah.
Clary and Naps and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was in the team
Bam.
with, Joey Manu was like in our team. Latrell. So I came through
you had
all
some
these
What were
guys.
those boys like back then?
Throbber Central.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Silky. Latrell was just so big and strong, and so we won the grand final, and he like scored this try where he threw off 5 blokes and just ran under the sticks in Golden Point.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You couldn't write a better book.
Yeah.
No.
And him, Had like Johnny Tuivasa-Sheck. I'm sure I'm forgetting a heap of blokes too. A lot of guys then went on to play in that 20 side that won against Penrith too. So like the whole way coming through, we sort of played Penrith in the SG Ball Grand Final, played in the 20s Grand Final.
So how old did you say you're in? 26?
I'm 26. Yeah.
So you're right around the age of like Cleary, Luai, sort of like
so
all those weapons.
guys
You've
all
been
the way
going up against them for a while.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, like to see, obviously, how those guys have all gone through. But then even at the Roosters and coming back now, because I left when I was 21, so a lot of those guys was
How old you were when you left the Roosters?
yeah.
Fucking, isn't that crazy?
I
It
know,
just doesn't-
time's gone that fast.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like did 4 years in Newcastle.
Were you there for 4 years?
4 years, yeah.
Jesus.
Wow.
That
know.
just does go quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I'm going into year 8
Of your NRL career.
Yeah.
We were talking before, and Eddie was saying, like, you're in your, so it was 120 something games, right? Where you're like, you're like in the thick of a goddamn career at 120 odd games.
Yeah,
like,
it's so weird.
26 years old.
I still feel like
You might be on your way
the
to 300
19-year-olds
games, dude.
that I'm training with.
Well, you'll feel 19 when you're in your 30s like me. Don't worry about that. Life doesn't fucking, you don't start to you feel older, your back hurts more, but
Yeah.
But
Like,
mentally.
mentally, you feel like I feel like I'm 17 still, but you know, I get a sore back when I hop out of bed. I mean, that's just
that's just
the
life,
you
dude.
live.
That's the hand
you
you
gotta
dealt.
you gotta stretch the hip flexors, mate.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously you are in all right shape, but we can only stress the importance of having loose hip flexors. Yeah,
And
stretch them out.
I'll vouch for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because early days of my career, and this is probably why I
Jeff
had so
Athletic.
many injuries, sort of that first period at Newcastle, was just like, just rock up the training, do training, don't do any extras, like wasn't stretching or anything like that. Where now, after like, especially doing my Achilles, it's like something needs to change here. I've had way too many injuries. So I started working with some people like away from just doing, like your normal footy, physio and stuff, but hip tightness is
Hip
key.
tightness will fucking floor you.
Yeah, that's like big problem with a lot of injuries.
He
Knees and-
couldn't lay down straight. His hip flexors are so tight. He'd close in. Like
When I was
fucking-
doing like a side bridge, he's like trying
trying to-
to pull me apart, and I'm like
folding
folding
in
in
half,
like
dude.
a fucking like a bed, you know what I mean? Like a trundle bed, dude. I was like a trundle. And seriously, like I had a sore back for 3 years.
dude, he was trundle betting. And
I was
fucking-
it was
ridiculous.
embarrassing.
How much did it hurt trying to stretch it to start with then? Was it
Mate, it was like he was doing things that I couldn't do. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like
But
I couldn't
now-
even like cross my legs and shit. I was
No, he couldn't touch his toes. I was touching my toes, and he's like, "How the fuck are you doing that?" I'm like, "Dude,
But you're
I-
weirdly flexible though. Like you're.
I wouldn't
abnormally-
say I'm weirdly flexible.
I think if
You're-
you went- I think
dude,
if you
most
went out
people
to the
don't
streets-
fold over like a trundle bed. You're weirdly inflexible. Don't make this me being weird. I've never seen anyone fold like you. Just your body's natural inclination was just to fold you in half.
What's the tight hip flexors?
No, it is.
And was putting a lot of strain on my lower back. And this is boring to some people, but maybe interesting
And
to others.
not only the 100th time we've spoken about it.
Well, listen, you might be tuning in for the first time.
That's a
You
good
might have seen
point.
Connor's face and thought, fuck it, I'll listen to the boys. And here we are talking about hip flexors.
I wanted to ask you about just like coming up, and I'm always interested to know like, what it feels like before you've made it, and like, are you confident? Were you confident that you could make professional rugby league? Like, did you feel confident about it, or are you fighting head noise as a kid, basically? Trying to the uncertainty of knowing what the trajectory of your life's going to be.
It is a bit of a scary time, I think, because, like most people would have like a 2-year 20s deal, and then like you've got to try and make it count while you're there.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to have to go and do something else. Like it's usually, like with a lot of guys, if you're not in, a full-time squad by the age of like 21, 22, a lot of people just, it's too late. You're missing out on other parts of life where you might need to go to uni and get a degree. But yeah, I always like believed that I was going to make it, but I probably didn't think that it would happen as quick as it did. Yeah, like I had a really good 20s year, the first year out of school. And then I remember like I was living in one of the Roosters houses at the time and probably didn't know like where I was sitting in the scheme of things, but a house parent was like to me, you keep going and, like you're a real chance of making your debut soon. That was in like my first 20s year. I was like, mate, what do you mean? And cause it seems like it's so far ahead, and it's like this massive jump that is so scary to even like think about making. And I probably didn't have the confidence in myself that I was like ready to make that step. And then part of my deal with the Roosters was that after my first year of 20s, I would get to do NRL preseason. And like my big goal with the NRL preseason was to play the nines. And then once I played the nines and sort of mixed it with, there's a fair few first graders that play, and I went pretty good, and like Robbo and stuff was really happy with me, and I was like, you know, maybe I can do it. Like I can mix it with these guys. But at the time, the club had just signed Jaden Nikorima. We had Jackson Hastings, and we had Mitchell Pearce as well. And then we had another dude by the name of Tyler Cornish. I don't know if you remember him.
Did you have a brother as well?
Yeah, Mitch Cornish that played for Canberra and then come and played for the Roosters. So I was probably like the fifth half on the depth chart. And then Piercy, the thing on Australia Day happened, so he got suspended for 10 weeks, and then they ran with Jackson and Jaden, and I just went back to the 20s and was like playing pretty good footy there, and the first grade side was really struggling. And then
Were you playing halves at the time?
yeah, I was playing 5'8" at the time, and then like round 5 they said to me, and I hadn't even been training with grade really at this point. We'd do like an opposed session. They get like a few players to do an opposed session. And that always gets pretty heated because it's always like the young kids or the cut players, you want to like leave an impression when they're doing the opposed session, because that's when like, you know.
They'll go away and talk about it. Like, that fucking guy was a bit of an animal.
Robbo's like, oh shit, like he was good today.
Yeah.
Carving the boys up or whatever. And then they just said to me, like, we don't want you to play 20s this weekend because Aiden Guerra might have a baby. If he has a baby and has to go to hospital, we need you on standby to play. And I was like, what? I was like, are you actually serious? This is like, I'm not ready for this. This is crazy. And then after that, they were like, no, we want you to come up and train with us now.
But were you also Wigan being like, but Aiden Guerra is a back rower?
Yeah, but what had happened at that point was they were starting Aiden at 5'8" because they would.
So fucking out of players.
Yeah, and then they would bring in Jaden off the bench after saying because they wanted to take the sting out of the game for him. Right. It was like their whole thought process around it. And yeah, and then they said if Aiden has the kid, then you're going onto the bench.
Did he have the kid?
No, he didn't have the kid. Yeah, and I was like, but this was on like the day before the game.
Oh fuck!
So no one even knew. I was lucky. Mum and Dad would have been there if it happened.
Yeah,
that's about it. It would have been the most random debut ever.
Yeah.
And then so then they asked me to come up and start training with them full time. And then 2 weeks later, I was the 18th man for the NRL. So they were like, "You're getting really close." And then the next week, Robbo sort of called me in and it was like, you're playing this week.
Who was he against?
Bench. So we versed Penrith.
Were they good then?
It was when they were like pretty good. It was when Jamie Soward was there. He was playing halfback. I think Cleary might have debuted later that year. And it was the wettest Monday night you've ever seen. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, torrential rain, but had like a couple buses of people from Avoca come down, which was pretty cool.
That's good.
Pretty much made up the whole crowd.
Did you win?
No, we lost.
A wet Monday night. That would have been drab.
That must be just generally though, right? Like when you're playing, it's a fucking just a round 13. Who gives a fuck? You know, no disrespect to round 13, but like, and it's pissing with rain. Are you just like, they're games where I don't want you to try and, I'm not trying to get you to say you don't care. I just mean like where you're like, this is not going to be a fun game. It's going to be just piss and rain and cold as shit in Canberra or something, you know?
Well, for me, it was my debut. So I was
different.
Yeah, I was frothing. But yeah, some of those Canberra, when it's freezing cold ones, are tough trips.
Would Canberra be the biggest shithole you got to go to?
Got to be careful what I say because
Ricky
might call you.
What'd you fucking say? I mean, like from like I guess not the town. I'm calling Canberra a shithole. I'm asking you more about just like environmentally speaking, what you got to play in.
Yeah, well, it's always the coldest conditions. It's tough to go. Like playing Townsville early in the year is always tough too because that's
humid
so
as fuck.
hot. Yeah, you can't there's no way you can prepare for that.
Mm.
But yeah, Canberra winter, it's a tough trip.
Yeah. Shout out to Canberra.
Shout out to Ricky.
And shout out to Ricky, who
Shout out
we
to
are
Ricky.
trying to get on.
Well, he's a friend of ours.
He's a friend of ours.
He's
now.
actually. I don't know if he's listened to the podcast
no,
before. So
I'd hope he hasn't, because
maybe don't go back, Ricky.
don't go into the archives.
Don't go back. But
But we will be texting you. We'll text you at some point.
100%. So how'd you find the first couple of years at the Roosters? You loved it?
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
First year was sick. Like I said, I wasn't really expecting to play, and then, got my start on the bench and played like maybe the next 10 games off the bench.
Oh, cool. So
At
it wasn't like
14?
an up and then out
Yeah.
again.
Actually, I played 3 in a row, and then Piercy came back from his suspension, so round 10. I got to play Anzac Day game, which was like my
Hectic.
third
Love
game
that.
of NRL, which was epic.
Mm.
Yeah, I was just
That's
That-
nice.
what a
literally
game that is.
The boy dream. Like,
Yeah.
it was crazy, and what a day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
like
the
it's
best,
a hectic
mate.
day. It's
I
a
love it
hectic
when
day.
that game starts. It's so good.
Who was your team growing up? Who'd you go
I
for?
always went for the Knights.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do most people on the Central Coast go for the Knights?
yeah. I'd say it's probably Knights dominant, but there's a lot of other, like, I know heaps of Eels fans and Manly fans too.
I was about to say. I was
didn't
waiting for you to
wanna-
say. I didn't want to. I didn't want to put
know.
words in your
No,
mouth.
no, we,
But I was sitting here waiting.
No, I held off as well because we're
Yeah.
classy guys. It's not we're not forcing our club on anyone.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. I was under the impression that Manly liked to scoop up all those prodigious boys out of the Central Coast.
Well, I think everyone does. Like, everyone scoops out of Newcastle, and this is no disrespect to Newcastle, but they have now developed a storied history of letting throbbers go. Broyd Cordner, yourself, fucking
was up
Latrell.
there. Yeah.
Like, they're almost like, oh, he's good, fuck off.
you're from the Hunter, you good?
Oh, you're good?
On your
Wait,
bike,
Robbo,
mate.
I've got this fucking weapon down here. Do you want him?
It's got a little bit like that.
It sort of
I
has.
know, and then it's just people walking around talking about the Johns years.
Yeah, exactly.
No offense to the Knights. I'm just calling
No,
as
we're
I
just-
said.
Love them. Still love them.
Yeah.
Always.
Always.
Yeah. Well, I like them as a club. I do. I'm just pointing out their shortcomings. That's all.
That's as is our right.
As Australian.
Yeah. So when you played for the Roosters, did you make finals? Like, did you get to play finals footy in that first stint for the Roosters? I just don't. My
the
fucking
second
brains.
year. Second year
Right.
we did. First year was we missed Piercy for the 10
Was that a
games.
spoon year?
No, we never got the spoon. I think we might have finished 14th or 15th.
They got spoon
Yeah.
2009, and then I think
Yeah.
they made the
So it was
finals
15th, I
2010.
think. And then you.
Yeah, maybe.
And you flipped it
15th.
around
And
big
then we went
time.
to second.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we finished the minor premiership second, and we're playing really good footy. Won the first final against Brisbane. I don't know if you remember when Latrell scored that freakish try, palmed off a few blokes. And
No, I
then
don't.
Beat the fullback, and
Beast.
to win the
But-
game.
yeah, okay.
At 18 years old or something, whatever he was.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
19 years old.
yeah.
And then versus the Cowboys in the prelim, and that was the year that Thurston was out. But
And
remember
Morgan was
had
ripping.
the absolute tear of the
Yeah.
back end of the season, and just lost that game.
And
I
then they
remember,
got
like-
fucking pumped, didn't they, in the final?
Yeah,
Relatively
got pumped
speaking,
by
they
the
got the
Storm,
Storm
yeah.
pretty much. Just fucking put it. Fuck off, Dave. Sorry.
Is
Dave's-
he a?
He's
Storm
a
fan,
New
or-
South Wales born and bred Queensland and Storm fan. So a fuckwit.
There's a lot of problems there.
Yeah.
Well, there's too many to count.
All problems.
All problems. I don't see any solutions there at all.
No redeeming qualities.
No.
Well, he's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy and you get on with him pretty well, but I mean, a lot of question marks, mate.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
question marks.
Why did you leave the Roosters? Did they like tap you on the shoulder? Was it like, or did the Knights come in and start throwing around big bickies?
Yeah. So what happened was I actually re-signed with the Roosters after my first year of grade. So it was for 2017 and 2018 as well. So I was still under contract with the Roosters. And then when I wasn't like playing a whole heap. I was still in the side every week, but it was like 20 minutes some weeks. 40 minutes some weeks. And I just felt like I rushed it, I think. I probably shouldn't have left. I should have just waited and.
Well, they won 2 comps.
Oh, yeah. Hindsight.
Yeah.
Mate, yeah. But like just more from a footy development thing too.
Yep.
Yeah. And I just felt like I was ready and wanted to go somewhere where I could start. And we'd signed Luke Keary. So like Luke Keary and Pearcey were the halves, and then we just signed Tedesco. So like my other position, fullback, wasn't going to play there. And yeah, went to the club, and they were like, "Nah, you're not going. We're keeping you."
Is there an element just quickly there with that of like, you know, you were like 21 or whatever at the time, and obviously you want to be a half or you say fullback, of like a pride thing of being like, I should be starting. I need to start, like bench. I don't want to be playing off the bench, even if it is. Is that sort of what you mean a little bit, where you're like, maybe I should have just fucking grinded a bit harder?
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely a pride thing, and probably just like getting a little bit far ahead of myself. I felt like I got a bit far ahead of myself, like where I was at. But yeah, like it's something that it probably took me a couple of years with at Newcastle to then just like be happy with playing, you know? Like I'm still living the dream that I've always had, and like nowadays the utility position is so important. Yeah. And it just took me a while to actually see the value in that and not just be like, oh, I want to start, I want to play 80 minutes every week. And that was my mindset. And then that's why I went to the Knights. I could come between the Tigers and the Knights when Ivan was at the Tigers. Yeah. So I was close to going there because he's a pretty handy coach, but
yeah, but he wasn't there for long.
If I went,
you gotta be a fucking magician. When did you realize or come to the realization of like, oh, maybe I did go a bit early. Like maybe I should have like stayed a bit longer at the Roosters. Was that an immediate thing when you got to the Knights, or was it like just as you got back to the Roosters almost? Like when do you reflect on that and have that realization?
Yeah, it wasn't immediately. I reckon the first 2 years, I still was sort of in that mindset, and then that second year, I'd played. So we started the year at fullback, and then I got injured, and then when I come back, I played 5/8, and then when I come back to, and then Denny Levi got injured, and then I ended up playing 9. So all in the 1 year, I went from fullback to 5/8 to playing hooker.
Yeah,
and then at that point, I realized like it's pretty important to be able to cover all these multiple positions, and more so like team success became more important than just like me wanting to be a starting player.
Yep.
And then once Adzi came in and he was like, I want you to play 13, I want you to play 9, and then I need you to be able to play like every other position. But every other position. But you're gonna be like in our side every week, and you know, like really sort of valued that position. And yeah, for me, then we started going better as a football side. And I was like, I don't really care if I'm starting or not anymore. As long as we're winning games and I'm contributing, I'm happy.
It's funny how, like, you know, as a 21-year-old, you just think you're going to be the best half in the world. But then, was that a nice feeling when it sort of dawns on you, like, oh, I'm actually, like, incredibly fucking valuable because I can play basically every position on the park well.
Yeah.
Like, you came up as a fullback, you came up as a 5'8", you can play them, you can play hooker, you can play in the back row, you can play centres. Like, is that a nice feeling, being like, I'm indispensable in a way?
Yeah, it's a good feeling for sure. And I just like being able to help the team out in that way too. But also to be able to play different positions is cool because it like changes it up all the time, to be honest.
Keeps it fresh.
Keeps it exciting. But yeah, like you just never know where you're going to end up. But I like also playing 13 and like having that as the primary role, you know?
And is that in the new rules, the 13's become a bit more of a nimble, I mean, it's not a hot boy position, but it kind of is these days. I feel like the 13...
A lot of hot people playing
There's
13.
a lot of hot people playing 13.
Lot of hot people
None
playing
hotter
13.
than the man sitting in front of us, obviously. But
there's some pretty fucking hot 13s.
Some pretty hot 13s getting around.
It's
is that part of it?
Heaps, eh?
It's changed completely, eh? Like it's now, you know, you need to be basically a 9.5, 10 out of 10. Fuck what you can do with the football. You need to be hot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that must have been nice when you go, oh, shit, they're starting to 13's becoming a hot boy.
Doesn't hurt if you're from Dubbo either. A couple of good Dubbo 13s running around.
Yeah.
Some hot Dubbo 13s.
Yeah. Shout out to Isaiah.
Shout out to Isaiah.
Good man.
Friend of the show. But, yeah, so the 13 position generally has, like, it's sort of changed up a bit. Was the back end of your Knights career, because we had a dude that we used to do a betting show with, Michael, who's a fucking massive Knights fan, he used
Big
to get
fan,
like,
loves
dude,
them.
he used to just be like fucking ropeable
That you're on the bench.
that you're on the bench, and he'd be like, what the fuck is this? And again, I don't know what your relationship with Adam O'Brien is, but there was no stauncher anti-Adam O'Brien. He needs to know, like, and it was almost down exclusively to the fact that you weren't starting.
You were often his first point every week. Like, he couldn't understand why you weren't starting. Like, it drove him almost to insanity.
Yeah.
Like, he would come in purple with rage and just go on these fucking tirades. Like, he'd do them on camera and they're funny, but he'd be doing them.
Yeah,
as soon as he got there and
show.
as soon as he left, like, he couldn't drop it. And there was no bigger point than you being on the bench every week, which I also thought was a misjustice.
But did that become, was there anything about that period where did you think that you should have been starting? Did that become was that a frustrating moment of your career, that period? Or not really?
No, not really.
Because of all the things you just said.
Yeah, I think because my perspective had changed on it and I just wanted to do what was best for the team. But I did also know that I could start at 13 too. That was like, I'd probably finally worked out what like my best position was and the best way I was suited for the team as well. But that would change week to week purely on who we're versing usually. So if it was like a big pack, Adzi would say to me, I'm just going to start you off the bench this week.
Right.
But then I would come on and play 60 minutes straight, go on after the sort of sting's taken out of the game. Yeah. No, it wasn't frustrating. Like, I was happy to do it, but I also did enjoy starting.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounded political. Finished it off with going, I really like to start.
He's a smart kid.
Yeah, no, he's a smart guy. Not just hot.
No. You don't say that often.
No, you don't.
Brains and looks.
No, brains and looks.
You don't say it.
And can sing, triple threat.
Could sing.
And now back to a double threat.
Could sing.
Yeah, could sing.
I can't show you, unfortunately.
No, that's all right.
No,
but we've heard
we
stories.
believe you.
No,
we believe you.
Again, further to the fucking point, not to bring up fucking the old Rain Man again, R.I.P., metaphorically speaking, he's still alive.
Yeah, he's alive.
He's alive.
Thank God.
Yeah.
He's getting worried.
No, he's still alive. But when they didn't re-sign you, how was that? How did you feel in that moment?
It was...
Or did they offer you? They made you an
did.
offer.
Oh, they did make an offer.
Yeah, they made an
Make an
offer.
offer.
I apologise. I take that back.
It's okay.
But how'd that all happen? What was the go there?
Yeah, so
How the fuck they let you go? Let me put it that way.
Well, my intentions were to stay. Like, that was all I wanted to do was stay in Newcastle. But I'd recently parted ways with my manager. And my whole thing around it was like, I'm going to stay in Newcastle. I probably don't need a manager. Like, I'm close enough with these guys. I'll just go and sort the deal myself. And then I sat down with them and the offer wasn't near where what I thought it was going to be. And I wasn't asking for anything. I just thought I was asking for my value.
Can I ask this? Was it less than what you were on already?
So it was less than what I was on already. And I'd re-signed that deal when I had a snapped Achilles.
Okay.
So when I've gone in there and they offered me that, I was like,
How do they do that? Do they push like a bit of paper across the desk? Like, is it like that? Like, or do they verbalise it? Like, was it come through an
you get
email?
a bad bill,
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
"Oh."
Here's your bill. So open this. We'll leave the room and give you a moment to consider your options.
Is it verbal? What is it?
Yeah, verbal. So
That's verbal.
he was like, this is what I'm thinking. And I was like, oh, that's not what I'm thinking.
Are you in the moment responding in kind? Like, are you going, what? Or are you
Yeah.
going, like, in your mind? Are you just thinking it?
Nah, so I thought it, but then because I'm representing myself, I have to say it too.
Fuck, that manager's coming in. He would have come in real handy
that's
right now.
Shit. shouldn't have got rid of him. So then I was like, I'm not really happy with that. Like I said, like, it's less than what I'm on now, and I re-signed this deal when I had a snapped Achilles. Thanks for you guys for signing me when I had a snapped Achilles, but also, like, I'm not asking for anything more than I think what my value is. And yeah, then I was like, if you guys can't come up to what I'm asking for, then I'm just going to go and have a look around. And like, my first preference is I want to stay here. I don't want to leave, but I'm going to go have a look around to see where my market value is at least. That's And then that sort of ended up on the path of.
What do they say when you say that? They're like, yeah, sweet, go have a look.
Yeah, they were pretty good with it. To be honest, Phil Gardner had always said to me, like, go find out what your value is if you want, like just so you're happy,
Yeah.
like re-signing here. Yeah,
Because you're representing yourself, are you on the blower then?
yeah. I had to get on the blower, which was a bit weird.
Hi, it's Watson's and Sons Player Management. Connor Watson here. Just wanting to talk about my player, Connor Watson. He's fucking good.
He's really hot.
Really good, really hot. Face of the club sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Not looking for anything crazy. Just been lowballed out the arse by the Newcastle Knights.
Can play all over the park. He'll do a job.
Oh, he'll do a job.
He's a team first sort of operator.
Yeah, blue eyes.
Silky
Yeah,
hands.
no,
Nah, not blue.
not blue. What are they, green?
Hazel, maybe.
Hazel, open those things. Bro, they're blue as fuck. Am I wrong?
Maybe it's
Oh,
the
I can't
light.
see from here. Dave, can you have a look
Can
at
you
his
just
eyes?
get in there and have a look at his eyes for us?
Hazel's pretty good.
Yeah, we just say.
I mean,
Same as the colour on your shirt.
I will say that I assume you do know the colour of your eyes better than I do, but
Yeah, that was bold from you.
Yeah, it was. It was bold. It was
No, they're
like,
definitely blue. Well,
fuck.
I don't think they
Yeah,
are.
Connor, I mean, I've met you
Changed
twice.
in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe they have.
Well, I've met you twice, and I'm gonna tell you something. Your eyes are blue.
But is that who do you get on the blower to? Obviously, you go through the old contacts.
Yeah.
Roosters are obviously is probably first port of call. Did you?
I
call?
thought you were thinking of going overseas. Wasn't there something
Yeah,
yarn?
so
Win a man of steel.
when I was first at the
You'd win a man of steel.
Yeah, you
100%.
would. You'd go over there and win a man
You'd
of
win
steel
one
in the
without
Super
playing a
League
game.
straight away. They'd give it to
be
you.
good. It actually, like, I'd still love to go over there at some point.
Yeah.
Do that.
Catalans is fucking.
Catalans.
I
would
can
be
see you there.
Fucking
dream.
Catalans.
But so who do you get on the blower to?
Yeah. So what happened was one of the assistant coaches at the Knights, Christian Wolf, from
Samoa.
Tonga. Yeah.
Yes.
And went to St Helens and coached there for like 3 years, won 3 comps. Pretty good strike rate.
Not a bad strike
That's
rate.
okay.
So he had been there for a year, and then he rang me and just sort of said, what are you doing? Like, what's your plans?" And at the time, like, my whole mindset around it was, I was coming back from Achilles, so I was just sort of like stoked to be playing again, and I was single at the time, and I thought, like, you know what, it could even be a good opportunity to go over, play for St Helens for a couple of years, like win a couple comps, hopefully, which they did.
You would have.
Without me, so maybe I would have went there and they wouldn't have won. That would have been dramas, but
Yeah, that would have been tough.
yeah. And then I was like, then I can just go over, like, experience a bit of like a different culture for a couple of years and come back to the NRL because I was still young enough, and then started playing like a bit more footy and was then starting to play really good. Probably the best footy I'd played in first grade. And then I got on the phone to Robbo because he'd coached in the Super League before, and I just wanted some advice off him about what he thought of me going over there.
Was he always like someone you were able to lean on post Roosters career, like as a mentor-y sort of vibe?
No, but he'd always offered it. Like, yeah, I'd never taken it up.
He could have been if you wanted it.
Yeah,
but you didn't.
yeah,
right.
basically. And, you know, even in our first conversation, he's like, I would always do this for any of my players that, you know, have played under me and were coming for some advice. And he even said, like, in our first conversation, was basically saying, don't go, like, it's too early. The game's changing too. It's getting faster, the interchange and stuff. Like, you're becoming more valuable. You know, there needs to be players like you in the game. And I was like, sort of jokingly, was like, well, you don't have a spot for me, do you?
Sort of joking.
And then he's like, yeah, sort of joking.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I haven't been saying all these nice things just to pump your tires up. He's like, I've been thinking if we have the cap space or whatever. And he's like, let me get back to you. But then he also said and was like, if you need any, I know you're managing yourself. If you need any intros with other people at other clubs, let me know. Like, think of some clubs.
Fuck, so he seems like a great
he was
dude,
like
Robbo.
so beast with it.
Mm.
And then I just went back to him a couple of days later and I just said, look, to be honest, if I'm going to leave Newcastle, I'd probably only really want to come to the Roosters. Yeah. And then he come back to me a couple of days later and was like, yeah, we can get you a deal here. And then the Knights, and then it just started to get a bit too complicated, like trying to deal with it all. So I did get a manager to come on and do like a one-off fee.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Which was cool. like saves a lot of money too.
But did it become overwhelming in the sense that obviously you'd never manage yourself? I don't know how much a player generally has involvement in their deals when they do have a manager, but did it just become like a thing where you went, oh, I actually don't want to fucking manage myself? Or do you manage yourself now?
I still do.
Okay.
I still do. But it just became a thing of, like there's too much like phone calls and the money and like trying to push people to get some more money here. Like I don't really know for them to try and find money or what else they can offer. And
are you speaking to the way that deals are structured? So like, it's not just a one-off fee. It's like made up in different areas. Or
exactly. Because there's like,
well, the Roosters, it's like, we're going to leave a bag of cash underneath a swing set in a fucking Double Bay Park.
And I can't be seen to pick it up.
I need someone to go and get it. So you're going to find a Labrador walking through a park. You need to kill that lab, cut it open. There's 300 grand inside there. Shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not shit like that. But shit like there's club cars and they can find, value.
Yeah.
Other ways. And then.
Can I ask again, like, not divulging specific numbers and all that sort of stuff, but like what the Knights offer you, which is less than what you were on, then the Roosters, are they doing better than what the Knights offer you? Like, so they're paying you more than what the Knights have, or they're offering you more than what the Knights offered you in that initial
They came,
They came above?
I just said, this is what I want. And then they were just like, yeah, cool. We can do that. And then eventually, after I got the manager involved, the Knights come to what I asked. And then I was like, oh my God.
Isn't that interesting though? Like, and I'm more talking to you because I know you don't want to talk any shit, but like a club like the Knights, a club like the Roosters, who are a storied history of ripping and tearing, and just like you're seeing how a club can fuck something like that. It's like, oh, well, this is what we'll offer you. And you're like, all right, well, the fucking best team in the competition is going to offer me this. And like, oh, so are we. And I'm like, well, it's a bit late for that.
I mean, I know exactly what you mean. And when that happens, right, you wanted to stay at the Knights. They were your first preference. But then Robbo's come and he's offered good money, or at least the money that you wanted. Are you then in a bit of a mental pretzel because you'd said you wanted to stay, but now...
Or are you frustrated that now they can afford you?
Bit of both. Yeah, a bit of both. And I think, because this is when we're in the Sunny Coast bubble too.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like away from home, trying to deal with all this. And then the Roosters were also staying in the same hotel as us.
It's like seeing your new missus.
Which was...
And did you walk past Robbie just wink at you?
Yeah, well, I had to go and meet him at some point. So, yeah.
In the cubicles, just passing notes under the shit.
To talk about it, yeah. So that was weird. And then...
But when you're making a decision like that, is it more about, like, what swayed you fundamentally at the end of the day? Was it like the vision that Robbo puts in front of you? Is it like the club culture? Is it is it the Roosters, glamour club of the NRL? Like,
winning comps, without disrespecting the Knights, like there's more of a realistic chance that you will win a comp with the Roosters before the Knights win a comp.
Yeah, that was the big one, I think. And, all those parts of what you said influence you for sure. Yeah, it was really just probably Robbo's vision, and then also like who was playing, who was going to the Roosters, and like what our roster was going to look like. That was a big part of it. And it was such a tough decision because I loved Newcastle so much. Still like the great place to live. Boys are awesome. Like, obviously lived with Kalen and Tex for a while, had the podcast, and then grew up with like the Safidi boys. So these are like boys that I've been like
mates
with for a long, long time. And then, but I was like, I've only got such a limited window to play rugby league, and I have this opportunity to like do the number one thing that I want to do, which is win a grand final. Like that's what my biggest goal is. Like I feel like going to the Roosters is a better opportunity for me to do that. And yeah, it was a tough decision to make. It was hard telling the boys.
That's what I was about to say. How much did the relationship with Kalen come into it? Because from an outsider, even I, who hate both clubs with a passion as a Manly fan, I'm like, fuck, you hate to see a bromance break up, don't you? You really hate to see it.
I think the nation wept a little bit.
Collectively.
Like there was a collective weeping.
Just two hot boys fucking separated.
Yeah, who shared a bed, and you were like,
Yeah,
we're splitting that double into a single now.
Yeah, that's
essentially.
it. Top and tails no more.
Like, is that sort of? Are we painting a pretty realistic picture?
She's painting a good picture.
Did he ever get in your ear?
Single bed, man.
Was it? Yeah. But was he in? Is there? Do you do much of that? And especially when you're so close with certain players, right? Like, are you telling him what's going on? Is he like, fucking stay? Like, is there any of that sort of stuff that happens, or is it like, are you all pretty respectful of like, we don't get into each other's business?
Yeah, he was pretty respectful, to be honest. He sort of just said to me like, I guess that thing, like, do what you need to do that, like, for yourself. Don't worry about anyone else. Or like,
Do you ever ask him to snap off a couple of $100K from his contract? Be like, I mean, I'll stay, bro, but you're gonna have to fucking chip in.
Bump me up.
Yeah,
man.
bump me up, dude.
Bump me
What the
up.
fuck are you gonna do with an extra $100,000 anyway? Well, probably a lot, but
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you ask. You got to ask.
yeah. If you don't ask, you won't receive.
Well, I didn't receive.
No, well, a closed mouth doesn't get fed,
Yes, as they say.
as they say. I think Jay-Z
But
said
so, when did you tell them? Or did you go like one by one?
Yeah, so I think first person I told was, so I'd made my decision, and then I slept on it. Spoke to mum and that. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the Roosters. They were pumped for me, like, because they knew how much I loved Robbo and how good he was, and obviously,
it's a huge fucking, like, it's a great place to go, right?
yeah, and it was the club that also brought me up, you know,
Yeah.
which was cool too. So that they were frothing about that, and then we did a podcast, Kalen Croaks and I, and after it finished, we were like talking about it, and I was like, I got to tell you something, boys. And they're like, what? And I was like, oh, I made my decision, and then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Roosters, and then Kalen just didn't talk to me for like an hour and just sat in my room and sat off me. Croaks is like trying to break the awkwardness.
Yeah,
Kalen and
yeah.
I just sitting there like when you're trying to console with your ex-girlfriend. And
Yeah. Listen, we can still be friends.
Yeah. I'll still see ya.
Yeah.
FaceTime,
Yeah,
holidays.
yeah, that's all right.
blah, blah, blah.
You can come visit with the dog. So coming back to the Roosters then, like, has it been refreshing?
Yeah, it's been.
Sorry, I just want to ask one more thing. Just leaving the Knights, like, was it all good though once it all got sorted? Like, everything was cool, like you left and everything was sort of squared away. It wasn't like bad bloody.
Nah, no bad blood. It was good, to be honest. The boys were, and then like, so I had to tell Adzi, he was pretty good.
Do you get on with him?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Is he? What's he like as a coach? He seems like he gets a bit maligned. Like, there's, certain perception of him generally. What's he like? What do you, as a player under him, like? How do you find his coaching?
Yeah, no, I loved him. I feel like he really simplified the game for me, like with the whole 13 thing, and I played my best footy I'd played since I was 20.
Yep.
Underneath him, and the most consistent footy too. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed playing for him. So that was like a tough conversation too. Yeah, and then after that, once I told him, I'd messaged. It was like a little group chat with sort of the like leadership boys, and I just said, "Can you just meet me in this room?"
It would have been way funnier if you just left the chat.
Yeah. Geez, that would have went down well, mate. We're in the middle of the year.
Yeah, right. No, that timing wouldn't have been ideal.
Yeah, so I was like, boys, can you come meet me? So we all met in one of the boys' hotel rooms. And yeah, it was like 10 of them sitting there. I was like, yeah, I'm leaving, lads.
Are they cool?
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were cool. They were all good. They all understood. That's
They're
footy,
Dubbo.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of it. Like, people come and go. That's the whole, it's a business.
It's the nature of it all, yeah. Everyone's used to it. It's not sort of shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not many one club players anymore.
No. Beaver Menzies.
Well, he's no longer playing, is he?
Well, he's a great, though. I just felt like
He is.
mentioning
Well,
it.
he's a great example.
He's a great example.
Yeah, he is.
Brett Stewart.
Yeah, great example.
Great example. Fucking-
Obviously.
Yeah.
Cherry Evans.
Daily.
There's a couple of examples.
No, there are.
Obviously, you're not one
A
of
lot
them.
of
but,
lot of manly players there.
That just was fucking unintentional. Cliffy Lyons. Fuck.
Jake and Tom.
Yeah, twos. So like change as good as a holiday. Back to the Roosters. Like, it's been nice, invigorating.
Yeah, it's been nice. It's weird because it's so similar to how it was when I left. I think because the core people in the organisation are all still the same. Like Robbo's still there. Matt King was one of the assistant coaches when I left, and he's still one of the assistant coaches. Like, and then just all the office staff. It's a real family club, the Roosters. Like deep down, with the way that the staff and the players, and then like even the office staff connect. Different to, I mean, I can imagine what most clubs are like. It's probably pretty separate, the footy department to the commercial. But at the Roosters, it's really sort of intertwined, just the way the whole office is and everyone gets on. So it was cool to come back to that. And then obviously to be under Robbo again is awesome. And
yeah. I saw a training photo he put up the other day saying back at it. I saw Boyd in the background. Like, is it good having him around?
Yeah, it's cool. Him and Friendy and Orbo, Friendy and Orbo run the academy, so that like all the young lads, and then Boyd is, one of the assistant coaches.
Is he going to go into coaching? Is that sort of what he wants to do?
I'm not exactly sure.
Were you back playing there when he retired?
Nah, I missed him.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so he retired the year before I came back.
Okay,
2021.
Don't know. Do we mention that the Knights let him go? Did we mention Boyd?
No, I don't think we did. Old bar boy.
Old bar, yeah.
Yeah, Old Bar Pirate. Yeah, so it's been awesome to be back. Really cool. Just feels like home, you know.
Yeah, nice.
Have you noticed a change in like what boys are still there from when you were playing?
Yeah, so I played with.
I'm just trying to think.
Teddy? Or did he come Teddy came the year they won the comp.
Yeah, the year I left.
Fucking hell.
Kiri.
Yep.
Was the main one. Jared,
obviously.
Yeah.
Lindsay.
Yep.
Joey Manu. And then
Toops.
And then a lot of those boys that I played 20s with have like come through now, which is cool. So like Satili.
Yeah.
Satili's ripping.
Satili's a fucking...
Satili's a fucking
He's a handful. A rugby league handful.
Mate, Satili, fuck.
Yeah, he's a cool dude too.
Is he?
Yeah.
He seems cool.
Yeah.
Joey Manu. I saw a photo the other day on IG of like Satili, Siwa, Joey, someone else, and like it was all these boys sitting there, and I don't know where they were. They were just sitting somewhere lax and having a good time.
I think it might have been the Glass Island.
Where the fuck's that? That sounds
in
awesome.
the harbour.
That sounds like a level on like a Super Mario or some shit. The Glass Island. Fucking hell. But
not to be confused with the island.
Yeah, different
Islands.
Yeah.
But Joey,
Manu?
sorry, no, not Joey.
Suwali,
Suwali or
Suwali. Is it Suwali'i or Suwali?
Yeah, Suwali.
Suwali'i.
He looked, again, like we're talking to a man who's paired physical prowess with sexual appeal, right? Like,
sure.
Suwali'i has got the same thing going, and in amongst a fucking throng of throbbers, he's sitting there looking as hot as anyone I've ever seen. And it's like, I'm 18 and I don't think I realize how attractive I am yet. I was like taken aback by it. Is he a humble dude?
Very humble. And he's tall too. So
he's fucking
that's
humongous.
What is he, 6'6"? 6'5"?
Yeah, around Toops' height, however big he is.
Yeah.
Tall as fuck, I think, is the official
Dior's
height.
getting us some numbers.
Geez, we're lucky with our wingers.
Yeah, dude.
You got some big
You got some seriously big
They
boys.
love carrying the footy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Which,
for fun, man.
Yeah.
yeah. Which is all that turns me on. Seeing a winger prepared to get in there and fucking chuck a bit of seed. But Suwali'i had one of the great years. Like, what was that like witnessing his
One of the next big things roll in to town.
Because he was like, his earmarked as like, some people say the most prodigious talent ever produced. And then it's sort of like they go through that signing process, then it stalls almost for like a year or two where they sort of find their feet, so to speak. He's like last year, he's announced himself to the world. Like, did he change in any way? Like, has his manner changed?
Nah, he's so cool. Like, yeah, that's for a kid that come with such a big rap. He like works as hard as anyone I've seen. So, I think he knows, sort of like, without like being arrogant or anything, he knows like how good he is or like what he's capable of. So he's not going to waste it, which is it's like almost Sonny Bill-esque.
Interesting.
Imagine him in
what I
8
mean?
years,
Yeah.
mate. Like,
That's the thing. He's fucking humongous already. Like, obviously, he's
did
tall.
he
but
just
I mean,
turn 18 or 19?
19, I
Just
think,
turned 19, yeah.
it's
Debuted
just-
when he was 17.
Yeah.
He reckons he was at school like a normal kid. Debuted, goes back to school. Kids are asking for photos and autographs and that.
Dude, isn't that ridiculous?
That'd be so
That'd be so
weird.
weird. It'd be so weird.
Imagine putting your blazer on Monday.
After
going
you've
to school
just
in
you
class
just
and
scored
shit.
like a hattie for the Roosters. You
Like-
know, oh yeah, sorry, dude. You've got a detention. You didn't finish your assignment. You're like, fuck off. I don't care. But I'm sure he wouldn't because he's a humble guy, whereas I'm a prick. But it's interesting to see, like, because you see players come through that are highly touted that either don't necessarily fulfill their potential or maybe they struggle early on. Someone like Jackson Hastings, for example, is someone who's always been highly touted, but like for whatever reason, you know, he's had sort of some ups and downs, but also like shown that he's clearly a good player. Do you now as an old guy, 26-year-old, but you know, you've played like, you know, you're an NRL player now. You know what I mean? You're not a new player, you're not a rookie, you're a fucking established NRL player.
You've tripled the average.
You've tripled the average, which is 42 games. Shout out to Dennon Kemp, who may have just
he
beaten
played
it.
42
I think he played it.
He might have
on
played
the
one
nose.
over or one less.
on the nose.
But we don't let him forget it.
Punt.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, pardon
On the
pun.
beak.
Yeah.
Do you see players come through and maybe if they're starting to get a little high on their own supply that you need to like do you mentor any young kids or anything like that, or do you feel like you impart any wisdom on how to be hot and successful? Sorry to ask a serious question and finish off with
Let's
a
get
fuck
deep.
with, yeah.
Let's get deep. Yeah, it's definitely important to try and mentor and like take some young kids under your wing for sure.
Mm.
I think the best example of it is like Jared Hargraves. Yeah, As
He
good
does
as-
that.
As good as he is, like he's brought like Lindsay and stuff. Yeah, he is absolutely like, and it was hard because he used to just smoke Lindsay and just toughened him up to be like
Yeah.
this big dog that he is now. Like Lindsay's a big
He's-
train. He's a freight
Dude,
train.
he's humongous.
But I was
as well.
walking behind him the other day, like I was running and he was walking in front of me. He'd been like going from training over to wherever the headquarters are. And I was blown away at how fucking big he is. He's enormous, mate.
Has anyone at training likened him to one of the Monstars in the original?
Well, not
Space
one
Jam.
of them. The
Well-
one that he looks like.
Well, no, I know, but I mean, he looks like a Monster from the original.
He looks
Space
like the
Jam.
guy with the big long neck.
Has anyone brought that up?
No, but thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'll be using it.
Let him know, and
Yeah.
it's like, I mean,
It's meant as a sign of respect. by the way.
100%. But he's a monster. That's all I'd say, and I think it's important that.
And the Monstars,
Lindsay knows
mate,
that.
put it this way, the Monstars were fucking
Hard to beat.
almost impossible to beat except for MJ. Take MJ off that
Yeah,
field.
you need the
off
greatest
that
player of
court.
all time. The Monstars aren't fucking. You know what I mean?
No one can beat the Monstars except Jordan. So it's a compliment.
No, it is a compliment. So you and Croaks and Kalen did the 257 collective podcast. Is that done? Is that a wrap now? Are we wrapped up on that? Where are we at?
Yeah, pretty much. We did like an episode not that long ago. It was like a
Did you do it at Bloke?
bloke. Yeah, which was pretty cool. So Denon's like the best, you guys know.
Yeah.
He's just said to us the whole time, if you want to do anything, just let me know and I'll let you sort of use the studio. And I reckon it'll probably be something that we might just do like one a year, you know,
Yeah.
one a year, and then maybe
Get
one-
together and catch up.
Yeah, one day maybe when we're like retired, do something. But
What was the reason for starting it? Is that like how much of that of a consideration for that sort of shit is like post-career-y, like, you know, doing other things? Because you guys in a short period of time became like, you know, like you got quite big. What was it, just for a fucking giggle to start?
yeah, it was because COVID had happened and they told us footy was off for the year, and then like we're in lockdown. We just were looking for something to do, And we'd always joked about starting the podcast, and then Kalen was like, "Bro, I just bought 2 mics." I was like, "Sick, like
Let's do it.
let's do it." And then yeah, it started. We had the worst little mics, like had them up on a shoebox to get them like near our face.
Yeah, mate, we've been there. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it was good fun though. And then, yeah, after probably about 10, we're like, let's just properly do it, level up. So,
Were you releasing that first 10 or were you just doing them for fun?
now we
Yeah,
released
right,
them.
right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, they're awful. I can't listen to them.
We
mate.
deleted our first 70 off the internet.
Really?
Yeah.
because we couldn't trust what was on there.
We were like, we don't
didn't
know
have we didn't have the time to go through them, but we were also like, when you were we were a bit more carefree with how we spoke
about everything.
About everything, exactly. So you just go, you know what? It's just easier if we remove
Just fuck them off.
We tease the audience around like, oh, they might be released, maybe.
To be honest, the fact that we've been able to scrub the internet of anything in today's age is
well,
we might be the only people that have ever done it.
because no one listened to us.
No, I know. We were obviously 30.
It's because
30 listens ish.
Yeah, and it was on SoundCloud, and no one cared.
Still, no one can scrub anything.
No one had the vision to download them.
No.
Because they could have us over a barrel.
Yeah. But so did you enjoy doing it? Is that something you want to do post-career? Is that like anything, in that sphere? Or is it just like it was enjoyable for a time and it was what it was?
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. I would still do it now, like if we could, but it's just kind of
circumstantial.
Yeah, circumstantial and a bit hard to get all three of us different schedules and you know the drill. But yeah, it's definitely something I'd be keen to do, like post footy. I did like a little bit with SEN last year. Radio appeals to me too, but I'd also like to do like just the normal radio, not so much just the sports stuff.
Oh yeah, like talk about
know
everything.
I mean? Yeah, talk about the hot topics.
Yeah, what do you?
A little bit of Bo Ryan about you, mate.
A little bit. Yeah.
What are your
Bowie's
hot
done it
topics?
right.
Bowie's killing it.
Yeah,
Killing it, mate.
He's a good man.
Killing it.
Yeah.
But so have you got some hot topics? Like what are you into outside of sport? What do you distract yourself with?
What do I distract myself with? I love technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
What sort of technology? I bought an iPad the other day.
Did you?
Did you?
I did, and
You kept that quiet.
Guys, guess what?
No, because you're not a big technology guy.
No.
That's why.
Well, to be honest, it's in between podcasts. I probably very well I might have bought it up, but I did get an iPad.
It's huge from you. Have
Well,
you worked out how to use it?
No, that's the thing. I started trying to install shit on it. I don't know how to fucking.
Don't know what you're doing.
Like I'm trying to get my fucking different accounts connected. And I'm just like, anyway. So you're a tech guy though.
More so like for example, Neuralink.
Oh yeah, Elon.
Yeah, like these are the hot topics I like to discuss.
Okay,
And like
dude, you'd fit in well on our Thursday podcast.
You would. You'll have to come for Thursday.
Yeah, you're
I
coming
love
for a
that.
Thursday where we don't talk any sport. We just talk all fucking.
We'll lock that in.
Any conspiracies and stuff.
Oh,
too
yeah,
that
Mate,
dude.
nothing's off.
Yeah. We get
Nothing's
into
off.
conspiracies,
Nothing's
dude.
off limits, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, Neuralink sounds crazy though. It kind of scares me a little.
Well,
bit.
but Elon got me going with it when he did that example. He's like, if you take a phone away from, like, everything with someone, if you got a phone in your hand, now you know nothing. Now you know everything. Now you know nothing. He's like, the only difference between having a phone and having something in your brain is like bandwidth.
Yeah, but it's in your fucking
Yeah,
brain,
but it's you're googling it anyway.
right. But that's and again,
but
I'm not
it's not a crazy.
anti it, but I'm like, I don't need to drill a hole in my head with the phone.
But if you say to some kid who spends all their time online, they're like, "Fucking oath, sign me up."
What do you think? Are you pro Neuralink or are
Yeah.
you wigging?
I like the idea of it because I'd like to live multiple lives and remember them. You know what I mean?
Hold on. No, I don't know what you.
Because
mean.
you can. He's talking like down the line. You can upload your
You can
consciousness.
become.
Oh, okay.
You can get like a new body and
Right, but
whatnot.
then we get into the very fucking, touchy area of what makes you human. And if I upload my fucking consciousness to the internet and now I'm in a new hot body, say a Connor Watson lookalike,
Yeah.
am I still me? Or am I me now with a six-pack and a fucking chest that won't quit?
Well, can I suggest this to you? Maybe that's what that is right now. We could be in a simulation.
So you're saying that I might be in my ideal body right now? Because I want
Well-
to talk to whoever I was before this. And we'll go, what did you sign us up to, bro?
All I'm saying is you might have had your memories erased and new ones put in. Like, you don't know.
Well, of course, but if I'm going to enter into something willingly, I want to fucking know the
Listen,
stakes.
put it this way: if you could
Thursday podcast, dude. Yeah,
if
we'll
you could
work.
pick your own avatar, I reckon more people are picking yours than his. Just as like a hunch.
Yeah, no, it's offensive, but it's fair.
I'd like to take your height though.
Well, okay, so maybe that's it. We splice my height, and I'm not even that tall.
He's
but,
he's
yeah.
shorter than me. So
Well,
you want my
but-
height. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? I present
surprises
taller.
me.
Yeah, I present taller, which
Yeah,
I
you
think
do
is all that
present tall.
matters.
Do you have a long torso or something?
Dude, I think it's the breadth of my shoulders, actually. They're so broad that you go, this guy's a giant. Whereas really, I'm actually a 15th shorter than you, but I'm actually just like the broadest guy you've ever seen.
We've got. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
broke-
yeah. I've just seen that too much.
The support thing in his chair is broken.
And like and I know for a fact he plays on that because like when we do the bloke podcast, I just see him up in his fucking stool a bit. I'm like, you
come
are
on, mate.
unbelievable.
You're hardly
You think I missed that, didn't you?
Are you taller? You're taller than me by like half an inch.
I am taller,
No, you are.
which is why you always try to present taller.
No, I just
'Cause
do
you know the
present
truth.
taller because of my physicality. You can't help raw physicality.
I
You just
try to
can't.
present tall.
But you don't need to. I get it, but you don't need to
Your
present.
first
tall.
graders played 125 games or whatever.
And like
You don't need to present tall.
Like, I tell you what else.
Not now. You will when you retire.
No, once
one
you
knows who
retire,
are.
you'll need
Yeah.
to present taller, and we'll look at some platform shoes.
Some
Like we can
platform
work.
shoes at home. I obviously
Some
didn't
pumps.
come prepared today with the Vans, but
No, not pumps, but you can get shoes where like
the Queens
Lifts.
and stuff is that or
Lifts.
the little hill lift thing.
yeah, they look like
You put them. They're like they look like they're for orthopedics or whatever.
Yes, or you get some Cuban heel boots.
There's
You know what I
options.
mean?
You've
There's
got options.
Yeah, you got options. What do you?
Come
What,
to
how
us,
tall
bro.
are you?
6 foot.
Yeah, there you go.
No, he's not.
Yeah. Look, I let it go. I let it go.
How tall are you, boys?
I'm 6 foot.
6'1".
Yeah, must be nice. Up
Yeah.
there.
No, it is.
Oh, it's mate. You cross that threshold.
I actually get dizzy up here because the air's fucking.
You cross that threshold, and the air is.
I'm basically
sweet.
living at altitude up here. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't get that problem, so
No.
it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's okay.
Mate, thank you very much for coming on. It's been great to yarn with you.
Thank you.
Had a
Thanks for
fun.
having me, boys.
And genuinely, you're very welcome on a Thursday pod anytime, or we get stuck into some random shit.
Yeah,
Would love to have you. 100%.
yeah. I'd absolutely love to come.
Is there any other tech shit? Neuralink is interesting. Before we let you go, but like, I mean, you basically said Neuralink, and then we took over the conversation, and we didn't really let him speak at all. Is there like, how'd you get into Neuralink? Like, how is this side of your life?
I reckon it was like Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're a Rogan
probably.
man.
Yeah, I'm a Rogan man. I actually listen to it like before I go to bed.
So do I.
Yeah, it helps calm the
Head noise. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, anything to distract from my mind fucking paying attention to itself. That's some Rogan on.
But yeah, any of those topics. There's
Yeah.
obviously some other Joe Rogan topics that probably can't discuss. But
Sure. No, well, not while the mics are on.
yeah,
Well, mate, thanks again. It's been lovely to talk to you. We really appreciate you coming on.
thank you.
Fuck the Roosters, like with the greatest respect, obviously. Like we appreciate you,
But we want you to do well.
we want you to do well, but we want our team to do better.
I appreciate that you put the respect on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With
Like
the
I-
greatest respect, fuck the Roosters.
We want you to have the best fucking year of all time.
Yeah, Dally M. If
Unless
Tommy's
it's-
not, like
yeah,
obviously Tommy
like-
coming back, but like everything that you could possibly achieve outside of a premiership, unless something catastrophic happens to Manly, like we just wanted all the best for you.
Yeah.
thank you, boys. I
And we
appreciate
mean that.
That's no, we genuinely mean that.
We do. Thanks, bro.
Thanks, bro.
I appreciate it.
Could you two just not talk anymore?